and WKTI HD, Milwaukee.
A locally owned Good Karma brand station. The biggest sports stories of the week.
I liked an Instagram post this week that I didn't mean to and unliked it pretty quickly. No rump shaking. Did you say that off the air, Kyle? You guys say that on the air. It was not rump shaking. It was not anything inappropriate. Jason, do you ever unintentionally like a rump shaking tweet?
He's a married man. Don't answer.
And then have to unlike it?
I have not yet.
Unique and compelling analysis and opinions when it comes to your favorite teams.
I understand the Packers' vision, and it was similar to the way Ted Thompson was with the drafting of Aaron Rodgers. But regardless of how Jordan Love's career turns out, in my heart of hearts, I believe that he cost the Packers at least one, if not two, Super Bowl appearances based on how he handled the 2020 draft.
This is Sunday Karma, broadcasting live from the Gruber Law Office's One Call That's All studios at the Avenue. Here's GKB founder and CEO, Craig Karmazin.
Oh, it is a good morning to you. Sunday Karma in Wisconsin and beyond. That Wolves looking like they're going to pick up a big win over Chelsea on the road. No, everyone's interested in that. All right, lots of things to get into, and to get into it quickly, we're going to be talking about Bet Resolution Sunday, basically, right? I mean, I think we all know this has got to happen now. We have a week in between the AFC and NFC Championship and the Super Bowl, and it's for a reason, right? Everyone knows why this week exists. It's so that everyone could pay off their bets from the NFL regular season. And we have some bets that need to get paid off. So we're going to hit that real quick, though. Kyle, you hit that? You check out that Bucs game a little bit last night?
I did. I dabbled in a little bit.
Oh, just a little bit?
Yeah. I had to get to Fubo to be able to watch.
Oh, I forgot. It's hard to watch Bucs games. My bad.
No, I had to get to Fubo. So
did you buy it last night?
No, but I had to get access to it.
Oh,
so
okay.
I got access to it. So I got to watch the little bit of third and fourth quarter of the game. I got to see the end of the game too, for sure.
Yeah, it was great to see, and I don't want to put too much into 3 quarters of basketball, but it's fun to watch the way the Bucs played. You know, coming off a first quarter of that game in Dallas where Luka dominated, the Mavericks dominated, the Bucs defense looked like a lot of Bucs defenses we've seen. You know, Mavericks had gotten 9 of 13 from 3-point range, which you knew they probably couldn't keep up. But sometimes this year it seems like teams have kept that up. And so to see Dame Lillard go 10 of 11 shooting, I mean, that's crazy. Guy went 10 of 11 shooting, and not like one of those like big men, Shaq, Jared Allen type 10 out of 11s where you're dunking the ball every time. He was 10 out of 11 with 5 for 5 3-pointers.
Yeah, I saw that I saw the end of the game where he hit a big corner three that basically
that was crazy. So he had 2 crazy threes. That one from the corner that you mentioned, and then he also hit one to end the first half, which was monstrous. That took the deficit down to 5, you know, after they'd been trailing not only by double digits, but by 20 plus in that game. But to be only down by 5 at the half was incredible. But then to realize that Dame, 30 points, 10 of 11 from the field, was overshadowed by what Giannis did.
Giannis went for 48. It was 48.
Second time this year in Texas. He's had a crazy 48-point performance. I happened to be at the other one when the Bucs lost to the Rockets earlier this year, where he scored 48 points in that game.
He went crazy in San Antonio too
against Wembanyama. I think it was 44 in that game.
I mean,
Giannis is playing like the MVP right now. I happened to look it up last night, and I don't know if it's changed since. How do you think you would rank the MVP candidates? Because I think you'll be surprised by who's in the mix and all that. So if you think about right now, who is the MVP of the NBA?
I know everybody's making a hubbub and a whole lot of a whole lot of noise about the fact that Joel Embiid's not going to get to the 65
Yeah,
games.
so Joel's out.
But, I mean,
right?
if you ask me the top 5 candidates for MVP, I mean, Joel, he hasn't missed the game. I mean, we'll know he won't be out, but he was performing well.
But
Jalen
he's out.
Brunson has been playing out of his mind. Shea Gilchrist, Alexander Gilchrist.
Alexander, you got it.
Yeah, he's been playing insane. And then, of course, Giannis would be in that conversation. Luka should be in the conversation as well, in my book as well.
And the one you missed is the favorite right now, which is Nikola Jokic, right?
Oh, yeah, he's the favorite right now.
So Jokic,
I mean, they didn't let Kobe win multiple ones. He can't win the MVP. What, 3? This would be the third one?
this would be his third.
Oh, come on now.
So Jokic is in the lead. Shea Gilgeous-Alexander is second. Luka Doncic was third last night. He is now tied with Giannis for third. Giannis moved up after last night. Giannis is tied for third. And then you have a two-way tie for fifth behind those guys who are third and fourth, which is a big drop off. Like Giannis and Luka are 8-1. The next people are 50-1, which is Jalen Brunson, who you mentioned, and then Jason Tatum. So it's a wide open race. And I mean, it's, I'm not allowed to discuss betting on NBA, any of that stuff, but it just shows you who the elite players are, especially now that Joel Embiid is out of the running based on not playing the games.
I mean, has he missed officially? Was it 17 games?
I think his next miss will be, but he's not going to be able to play, which is unfortunate because Joel Embiid. I mean, he was having one of the best shooting years in the history of the NBA, not just for a big man, like for anybody. The way he was shooting from mid-range, he was shooting from the free throw line, he was shooting even threes. Joel Embiid was having a really special year.
He can't stay healthy.
I know, it's sad.
That's the biggest thing. I mean, I saw the injury when it happened. It didn't look like much. It didn't look like a guy tore his meniscus when somebody fell on him, but it's like, woof, man, he's fragile.
Yeah, well, we got to get into this bet thing, but the last thing I'm going to say is I was looking at some upcoming schedules. Don't be surprised if the Cleveland Cavaliers have a game or two lead on the Milwaukee Bucks coming out of the month of February, which I know might seem weird to say, but you look at the Celtics in the first spot. Bucks have primarily been in that second spot through most of the season. I don't expect that the Bucks will be in that number 2 spot at the end of February, but that doesn't mean that I wasn't pleasantly impressed and surprised by how good an effort we saw last night. It's just the Bucks have a really difficult schedule in the month of February. Some other teams have lighter schedules coming up, and so wouldn't be surprised. And don't be alarmed, and don't be like, oh, we shouldn't have fired the coach, Doc Rivers, blah blah blah. He's getting his system in, getting things figured out, and don't be surprised, as I said, if the Cleveland Cavaliers are the number 2 team in the Eastern Conference when we leave the month of February, given that the Bucks, even though they play the Charlotte Hornets 3 times this month, have a pretty difficult overall schedule. So, all right, we said this is bet settlement week. It's why the NFL gives you an extra week between the conference championship weeks and the Super Bowl. And this year, we had on Cover 5 a contest where each of us picked 5 NFL games each week. You all were able to participate in it, so you could follow along. And whoever was last was going to have to follow the bet that we didn't make up. It was kind of a viral fantasy football penalty bet that we came up with. And at the end of the year, it ended up really being just a one-horse race between me and me. I know Gabe Neitzel maybe made a little run at me, but I was just terrible. I mean, you were throughout the whole year.
Last day you had a chance.
I know,
but you picked the Eagles.
Yeah, the Eagles killed me against the New York Giants.
You could have picked the Packers. You decided not to.
Yeah, I was bad all year though. It wasn't like I just didn't have it in NFL picks this year. Sometimes you have it, sometimes you don't. I didn't have it this year. I came in last. I am the loser, which means I will have to go to George Webb for 24 hours.
So is George Webb officially?
That's what I hear. George Webb for 24 hours, although I'm able to subtract 1 hour based on what I eat. While I'm there, we bring in Ben Brust from your show, Kyle, KBN, Kyle Brust and Nortman. Or is it Kyle Ben and Nortman? What's the B stand for?
It stands for Brust.
Okay, Kyle Brust and Nortman. And Ben Brust joins us right now on Sunday Karma. Good morning, Ben.
Good morning, everybody. I am going through a car wash right now, so if it's too loud, just let me know.
It's all good. So we figured you were the best person to help kind of figure this out with us in terms of what should the rules be for me and how should this work. Now, one of the things we had said was that you can't bring technology for these 24 hours except for the technology that's going to be used in tracking this for social media. Now, is that something we're still staying with?
Absolutely. I don't. Why would we not stay with it? Why would we change that?
And we have Alex Strofe said he's going to be the filmer.
He sure did.
So Alex Strofe, who's ESPN Madison, and you hear him on a bunch of these shows, he said he's going to be right there with me because he actually finished worse than me. Now, should I make a run at trying to say I shouldn't have to do this and Alex Strofe should have to do this?
We determined months ago of the fact that Alex Strofe, because of the fact that he allegedly has some issues that I'm not going to say he made them up, but I'm just saying allegedly has some issues with a lot of quotation marks that around week 10 we decided Alex was going to be the person that was going to sit there with whoever lost to help with the cameraman situation.
All right, so you're saying there's no way I could get out of this. I got to do this.
You absolutely have to do this, so get prepared. Do what you got to do.
Okay. So Alex Strofe's going to be there, but I'm going to be there. And so I can't be doing work, you're saying, on my, I can't have my tablet there and I can't be doing work during this 24 hours.
Yeah, no, the whole point is, correct me if I'm wrong, Ben, the whole point is the fact that you don't get technology whatsoever. You got to sit there for 24 hours. You better grab a book or read a book or something like that.
Now,
so what I would like to add to this is Jen Latta has not done anything for losing last year.
Oh, no, we're settling that up. We have that. That's coming up next. We took that off of Kyle's plate. And it turned out it's very easy to book Jen for the ACTs. It took one call, like something else we know that's only one call.
She's booked?
We're just figuring out the date. We have 2 schools that are ready to go.
I don't even want to hear this.
What?
I don't even want to hear it. 2 schools that are ready to go?
Yeah.
High schools?
Yeah.
Get out of town.
They're right away. They have them scheduled. Only one school only has one date the rest of the year. The other one has it a bunch of times, so it shouldn't be hard at all.
I'm be upset about this.
Why? Because Jen Latta lost last year, and last year's bet was you have to go take the ACTs, which Jen's going to be doing. Why are you upset about this?
So what, did she call?
No, we called. My assistant called.
Oh, okay. All right. I want to see how this goes.
Okay.
I'm very curious to know how this goes.
So are you doubting that she'll actually be allowed entrance?
I am doubting some things, yes.
Okay, because when you talked to them, they said if you're not a high school student, you can't.
When I called the national ACT, they gave me a real funny answer, and then she has to fill out the information as well.
Yeah. Okay. I mean, remember, 83% of schools are now not looking at your standardized testing. So I think the ACTs are happy for anyone to take the test in this current environment that we're living in. But let's get back to this year's bet. So I'm not allowed to work in terms of on my tablet or anything like that, but we did not limit those who can come in to visit, correct? So if I happen to schedule meetings with people and they needed to come to George Webb during this time, I feel like there's no rule that prohibits that, is there?
Why are there so many caveats with this? Like, go to the diner, do the punishment. Stop trying to I understand.
No. I mean, I don't want to break the rules. We got to establish the rules so that I'm not accused of breaking the rules after the fact.
The rules are, if you don't want to be there as long, just eat. That's all it is. Bring a book and just eat. Bring a newspaper. Eat. That's all it is.
But you're saying bring a book, so I can bring a book.
Pancakes.
But if someone happens to visit me, if I happen to have a one-on-one scheduled from 9 until 9:45 at George Webb, there's no rule against that.
This is
no phones, no newspaper, no book. It's a punishment. He doesn't get to sit there, relax, and enjoy his time. It's a punishment.
Right, but other people can come. Other people can come there, right? There was never any discussion of you have to be there alone.
I think the people that were a part of the bet can come there and badger you and laugh at you, but you can't just have work meetings. This isn't like a breakfast date.
And who chose George Webb? I feel like George Webb is a little bit too convenient because it's right across the street.
Well, I don't know if I'll do it at that George Webb.
Okay.
Okay. So I think we could decide.
They are a good partner on the Brewers Radio Network.
Exactly. George Webb, long time, as you said.
Well, we can find one not as close as. I feel like that's a convenience to one right down the street here.
Why?
It's too convenient. It is absolutely too convenient for you. For you to have meetings, people can just walk right down the street to have meetings with you.
So now I'm looking at their menu here, and I'm trying to figure out what the bet should be because, they're open 24 hours, which was an important part of this whole thing. But, they have eggs, but I can't find. Are there pancakes or waffles on this menu?
Well, we can tear out the food.
No. Okay, here they do have wheat cakes.
If you want that.
Okay, so they have wheat cakes. Are wheat cakes the same as pancakes?
You're asking the wrong person. I'm assuming. Let me take a look at the menu to figure out.
It says 2 buttermilk wheat cakes.
I see George Webb pancake recipe, so I'm assuming they have pancakes here.
Okay, now what about waffles? Because
we said pancakes. I thought it was you had to eat pancakes. Now it's going to waffles. Now it's going to eggs and cheese. Like what is it? Or pieces of bacon. So I'm just trying to figure out.
Now, if it was pieces of bacon, I'd be all for that. I think I could get 24 pieces of bacon, be out of there pretty quick. So wait. So okay.
Outside of Palermo's Pizza, I don't know if I've ever seen Craig eat. So I'm fascinated by just him eating.
So.
They literally have pancakes right here on there. I'm looking at a picture of pancakes.
Okay.
They might call it griddles.
Okay, so then we're going with the pancakes. All right, so then I have to be there for 24 hours, but I'm able to reduce my time there by 1 hour for each pancake that I eat. That is the bet.
That is the bet.
But people can visit me.
No phone, no newspaper, no books, no meetings, just you and Alex Strofe. You're going to get to know Alex Strofe really, really well.
Wait, no meetings? Where did this come from? Where did no meetings come from?
Well, because that's not for you. That's enjoyment.
So
you're not supposed to enjoy losing.
But, do we want to really damage the company by me being able to be taken out of complete productivity for an entire day?
You've taken vacation days before, Craig. You've been in islands before, Craig. You've missed a day. Go ahead.
My islands have Wi-Fi, though.
Let people know that. Hey, listen, I cannot be reached. If you need,
you can
if
follow your email to me and Kyle. We'll take care of everything.
We'll talk to IT. We'll make sure that day all your emails are forwarded to us, and if we see anything juicy, we'll share it on KBN that day.
So, do you think I could really go for how many hours do you think I'd really end up practically?
I think you'll be there for at least 10 hours.
If I'm there for 10 hours, that means I will have eaten 14 pancakes in 10 hours. That feels like a lot to me.
Oh, well, you might be in trouble. 14 pancakes, you put a couple on. I know I'm not going to share any strategies with you, Craig.
I think you're thinking about dousing them in syrup and stuff, but I think that makes it worse.
Well, we'll find out. Not my problem.
So, Ben, what do you think? How long do you think I'm going to be in this thing?
I think you'll be there at least 12 hours, and that's all I'm looking for. I'm looking for punishment. There's no meetings. There's no get to. And first off,
wait, but meetings are punishment. Everybody knows. There's books called Death by Meetings.
No,
meetings are a punishment for us all.
You're a CEO. CEOs are you're in meetings all day long. I stepped in to ask you one question for 5 seconds, and you weren't even in a meeting. And I got chewed out. So you are constantly doing something. So I want you to not be able to talk to anybody but Alex Strofe.
I understand you want that, but that wasn't the bet. We had said the technology part, but we never said you couldn't have visitors.
If you and I lost, we wouldn't get any. Everything would just be no. That's why when I was like, hey, let's call and figure out the terms, I was like, uh-oh. Here comes the trying to figure out how to make it as least as punishment as possible for Craig.
Wait, 800. You obviously have skin in the game where you have anger toward me that you're trying to get across through this punishment. I think I'm willing to abide.
I haven't received my floor seats for the last 2 victories. So yeah, I want.
Oh wow! That's years ago.
It has been offered to him many times. By the way, let's
just pass them to me, Ben, and I'll take care of them. Okay.
Kyle's hit the floor seats with me a bunch of times. I will right now. I will go by whatever the fans say. We will take 3 calls, best 2 out of 3 right now. 800-990-ESPN. It's 800-990-3776. Should I be allowed to have visitors at George Webb when I'm sitting there for 24 hours straight for losing our Cover 5 bet? And by the way, it won't be 25. I could see myself eating 5 or 6 pancakes, and then I'm there for 18, 19 hours.
Me?
Dude, I'm training for a half marathon. I don't want to put on all this weight. That's not good on my knees.
Aren't you supposed to get the carbs before the run?
Well, the run's not like that day. I mean, it's bad for the knees. If I'm almost 50 years old. If I
join you, I'll eat a pancake with you. It's just not going to go towards your time.
But I don't want to hang out with you. I want to meet with people that help our business. Oh, sorry. I'm sure you do that as well. 800-99.
No, I know you're not a loyal KBN listener. Kyle Ben and Nortman is not the title.
800.
Thanks for listening.
Hey, at least I knew you were the B. You should be happy about that. 800-990-3776. It's 800-990-ESPN. We need some help. We will abide by the calls right now. Should we allow the texts also, Kyle? What do you think? Or just calls?
Let's do calls.
Okay. All right. Call now, 800-990-3776. 800-990-3776. Two out of three.
Callers.
What do you want to say, Ben?
I said, make it hurt, callers.
Yeah. So should I be able to, if I'm sitting here for 24 hours, should I at least be able to have people come in and meet with me? Should my kid be able to come in? Like, no kid?
Here, listen. Can we go to Michael here real quick?
Yeah. I forgot you're the one screening the calls. I'm sure you're setting up these calls to.
Michael, you're on. I'm going to say KB. You're on Sunday Karma, Michael. Can you please let Craig know what he should be doing for a bet?
Hey, Craig. Boss man, I think you got to follow the grenade and lead by example. You lost the bet. You have acknowledged publicly that you lost the bet, and losers don't get to negotiate terms. You lost, and it's your bet.
But I think I'm being.
Losers don't get to negotiate terms.
Exactly.
They don't get to negotiate terms.
If I had never said anything, if I had never brought this up, I could have had people meeting there. I could have done all this. I'm trying to establish terms so that I do not want to go around the rules. So, Michael, you were saying.
Yeah,
go, Mike.
Do the right thing. Do the right thing. Do the honorable thing.
And so what does that mean in your mind? That means that I do not use any technology for work and I do not have any visitors during the entire 24 hours?
Random people might find out about it and come by. I mean, you can't stop that, but, no scheduling.
Right. So if Michael wants to come by and laugh at me, we're good with that. But if I want to schedule, one of our managers from 10 to 10:45 to do a one-on-one, Michael, you're saying that is not allowed?
I'm saying that that's not the example you want to set, in my opinion.
Okay. Thanks for the call, Michael.
Michael,
hope you come and visit. 800-990-ESPN. Come on. Save the company, everyone.
Losers don't get to negotiate. That was a key. That was a gem right there dropped by
We
Michael.
need someone to come have my back here. Someone to
And now that I know that he doesn't want me there, I can't wait to be there.
Oh, I mean, you had nothing else to do all day. I'm sure you're going to be hanging there all day. I mean, this is like my nightmare. Shouldn't I be able to limit the amount of hours Ben is there? I mean, do I get to kick people out of George Webb?
I mean, 2 to 5, unless we're doing this on a weekend.
Oh, I could see you guys doing a remote from there all of a sudden.
We may need to do a remote from there. we got a busy next 2 weeks coming up, but we'll get it all figured out.
Oh my God, this is all right. You know what? I'm gonna call it right there. All right, I'll do it. I'll do it that way. So, but I'm not saying like if.
You're negotiating. We've told you.
No, I'm just saying.
Rules.
I'm just saying. Okay, so if my kid just happens to want to stop by, she can't come by and laugh at me the way you guys can.
She can come by and laugh at you, but she cannot give you any type of moral or mental support whatsoever. Which I don't think that she would do that.
You know her. She's not going to be supportive of me at all.
Visitation hours.
Yeah, visitation hours. She only get a limited time.
You
now.
know she's not going to be supportive
of me. We're going to put a glass in between you two too.
If she is there, she will be there to mock me and to say, I bet you he's on his phone doing work, which we will obviously be limiting during this time. And
limiting is no
Apple
access.
Watch. We need an orange jumpsuit.
Oh yeah, let's get an orange jumpsuit. That would be even better. That would be even better. Great idea.
That was not.
Let me write that down. We haven't finalized terms.
No, that was not part of the terms.
We're going to finalize the terms coming up pretty soon here. You'll have some finalized terms this week.
No, you can't finalize terms after the fact.
What do you mean after the fact?
We're just clarifying right now. We're not inventing new terms.
These aren't new terms. We just need to clarify what's something that we want to all make sure that in here.
Okay, weekend versus weekday.
Man,
I mean,
weekend. I do care enough about the company that I want them on a weekday.
Okay, all right, good. Okay.
I prefer weekday, but I do love the company as well. But I prefer weekday because weekend means now he's taking some of my time because now I got to invest my time on a weekend towards Craig.
Well, what about if we started at like 6 o'clock
on a Friday?
On a Friday night.
No, let's
or
2
o'clock.
2 o'clock. Yeah,
2 o'clock
on a
when
Friday.
when your guys' show starts 2 p.m. on a Friday, and then it could go till 2 p.m. on a Saturday unless, I do some good eating.
And it'd be great. It'd be even better if there's a Bucks game that night and Ben gets to go to the Bucks game that night and sit in the floor seat.
Because my seats are gone?
Yeah, he'll send pictures to Strophy to show to you.
Wait, now if I'm there, am I allowed to watch the Bucks game on my phone and stuff?
No, you don't get a phone, Craig. What do you mean on your phone? Your phone is not. Give your phone to your assistant. She'll have your phone.
No. Kyle, he is giving his phone to us before. If this is at 2 o'clock, we will be holding his phone.
No, you are not touching my phone. You are not going near my phone.
I think we're on the right track.
We're getting there. That phone thing is pretty good. Let's brainstorm. We're gonna have a brainstorm meeting. We'll come with the final terms in the agreement this week for you.
All right, but just so you know, when you make a bet, you can't, after you see who loses, change the bet completely.
We're not changing the bet completely. We're just creating the ground rules. That's all it is. That's what you wanted us to do.
Right, and that's what I want to do. But the ground rules need to be, even in war, there are terms that are agreed upon. Okay. So let's not think that we can just independently assess any rules that one of us sees fit.
We'll present exactly what we have.
I'm really glad we just compared a fantasy football punishment to war.
I mean, Michael already said, the losers don't, I think Michael's the guy who took it there. I'm just following along that lead.
We'll run it past the group who participated, and we'll let you know. It is a democracy, is it not, Craig?
No, because you guys count as one vote. All of the people who won count as one vote, and all of the people who lose, which is me, count as one vote.
Sure, we all get one vote, but,
No.
What do you mean?
Combined one vote. You can't do this after the fact. And I have to go in my underwear. No, you can't.
You're not Ben. I'm not going to do that. But the jumpsuit does sound pretty. That sounds pretty accurate.
No.
Or at least pinstripes. Old school type of jumpsuit that they had back in the 20s.
Yeah.
Something to make people look at you like, what the heck is he doing? You need to stand out. You need to stick out.
That wasn't the bet. The bet alone, me having to be there for that long, is the bet. Now, and I think you guys, by not letting me do one-on-ones, I'm agreeing to it, but I think you're already breaking the spirit of the rules. All right, Ben, thank you. Thanks for joining us. We appreciate it, as always, and we'll hear you on KBN. Back this week?
Yes, sir. See you Monday with Kyle, Brad. Can't wait to be back.
Kyle, Brad, and Nortman. That's the show, KBN. Kyle, Brad, Nortman.
That was this week it was.
Yep, you don't even need to change the name when Ben's gone. I like it. All right, thanks, Ben. All right, we got Jason Wilde coming up. This isn't good. This is not good.
This is Sunday Karma with Craig Karmazin on ESPN Wisconsin and WisconsinOnDemand.com. Football guy.
What the hell happened to Bucky on your hat?
Football guy.
A lot of wear and tear for old B.
Coming at it from different views.
I'm just saying he's well worn. I mean, his face is missing. Okay, well, it's probably time for me to freshen that up. Bucky wants to flip you off right now.
Wilde and Tausch, presented by Pella Windows and Doors of Wisconsin. Also sponsored by Coors Light. Weekdays 9 to noon on 94.5 ESPN. And available wherever you get your podcasts with Wisconsin On Demand.
I had a really strange experience today.
Strange how?
A man walked into the store who was only about 2.5 feet tall.
What?
And he was carrying a bow and arrows.
Did he sort of have a baby face?
Yes. How did you know?
Sarah, that was Cupid.
Oh.
Did he give us a thumbs up?
Yes, 3 times.
So tell us, what are the Cupid-approved gifts for Valentine's 2024?
He loved our diamond stud earrings starting at $198.
We have 186 different styles and sizes.
And we have more than 1,400 pair in stock.
And Cupid loved our $98 diamond pendant.
It looks like it's worth a lot more.
And every purchase of $298 or more includes a fabulous free travel case to safely transport all of your jewelry.
But mostly, he loved the 4-carat total weight wow diamond engagement ring for less than $4,000.
Welcome to Kessler's for Valentine's Day.
Cupid approved.
Find the Kesslers nearest you at KesslersDiamonds.com.
Don't put your life on hold to earn a degree. Lakeland University has a long history of making students' dreams come true. Since 1862, build a schedule that meets your needs with options for 7 and 12-week courses, evening classes, and the ability to join classes remotely. Lakeland University is Wisconsin's leader in evening and online education. They have a main campus in Sheboygan County and 6 centers throughout the whole state. Lakeland University. Affordable, quality, flexible. Find out your next steps at info.lakeland.edu.
Hey, it's Gary Olson here for Wisconsin Indoor Golf Center. Looking for that midday escape? Or maybe you want to impress a client? No matter the season, rain, snow, or shine, Wisconsin Indoor Golf Center is open for you. A top-tech, cutting-edge golf experience that gives you the chance to play legendary courses. Wisconsin Indoor Golf Center simulators, entertainment, and best Bloody Marys make it feel like summer all year round. Just $35 an hour gets you a round and puts that summer feel back in your life. Book your bay at WisconsinIndoorGolfCenter.com.
This is ESPN Wisconsin's Brad Nortman, here to tell you about my favorite go-to drink. That's Carbless. Carbless is a ready-to-drink, handcrafted vodka and tequila cocktail. Even better, it's 0 carbs, 0 sugar, 0 gluten, and just 100 calories. And listen to this, less carbonation. This leads to less bloat. I can indulge in something delicious without having that health guilt. Carbless is crafted right here in Wisconsin. It has a flavor for everyone, from black raspberry to cranberry, pineapple and lemon, and my favorite, margarita. Find Carbless online and at a retailer near you. Less is more.
Earth Justice is a national legal nonprofit defending the environment and people's health. Until justice stands for all, our lawyers will never rest. More at earthjustice.org/neverrest. Earth Justice, because the earth needs a good lawyer.
Gabe Neitzel from Jen, Gabe, and Chewy here. Don't let the chilly weather end your golf season. X-Golf and American Family Field is open all year round. They've got innovative and accurate golf simulators, all overlooking left field at AmFam Field. Enjoy daily lunch specials or have an outing with your friends and take in X-Golf's full bar and food menus. X-Golf AmFam Field is even offering golf lessons by a PGA Pro. Everyone is welcome at X-Golf AmFam. Book your sim today, xgolfamfamfield.com. I'll see you out there.
Get your game on at the Island Resort and Casino with first-round picks of your favorite slots and table games. Watch your team compete on big screens in Team McSee's Sports Bar or the Sports Illustrated Sportsbook Room. Yes, you can bet the spread, parlays, futures, and more with Sports Illustrated Sportsbook at Island Resort and Casino. Your place to bet on sports. To book a game-time getaway at the Island, call 800-682-6040 today.
That to-do list you have needs one more thing. Chill. It's an easy thing to do. Just crack open an ice-cold Coors Light and chill. Take the afternoon off and binge watch anything. Go to happy hour and stay for a couple hours. Who's counting anyways? Or hang out with just your dog because you've had enough human interaction this week. Whatever you do it with a Coors Light. Mountain cold refreshment made to chill. 2020 Coors Brewing Company, Golden, Colorado. Celebrate responsibly.
Hey, it's Jason Wilding for Associated Bank. Here in Wisconsin, we love our sports year-round, right down to the Packers games and the Lambeau Snow. If you want to show your love for the green and gold every day, you got it with Associated Bank's exclusive Packers checking account. A one-of-a-kind debit card, a 10% discount at the Packers Pro Shop, plus everything you'll score as an Associated Bank customer. Best of all, you'll get a banking partner based right here in the Midwest. Visit AssociatedBank.com/Packers to get started today. You've got this with Associated Bank. Member FDIC.
Jason Wilde is brought to you by Boucher Automotive, where we ride with you every mile. 18 dealerships, 15 brands, and thousands of vehicles in stock. Check them out at Boucher.com.
And we always like to talk about the biggest things going on in the world of football, and that is why we bring in Jason Wilde. Good morning, Jason.
Good morning, guys. How are you?
Good. I think when we say the world of football, I think it's pretty obvious. We start with, in the post-Jurgen Klopp era, I mean, is it going to be still Liverpool or will it be Arsenal? Who's the biggest competitor to Man City right now? I mean, as we look into next year and Liverpool without Jurgen Klopp.
FC Bayern. Is that not the correct answer?
I mean, Bayern Munich is
in the Champions League,
is a place in the Champions League that could be a competitor, and who knows? I mean, based on where else Jurgen Klopp is coached, I don't know that he could end up there, but some have pointed to that as a potential destination. Maybe let's go back to American football, Jason, where the Packers hired a defensive coordinator. What do you think?
They did, Jurgen Klopp. I'm really intrigued. There's been a couple of reports out there now that maybe there were some Baltimore Ravens assistants that were in the mix and may or may not have been offered the job as well. And I know that there's a stigma, if you will, that I'm sure that the Packers don't want they didn't get their first choice. So, I don't know personally whether Zach Orr was offered the Packers job before he stayed in Baltimore, or if Denard Wilson was offered the job before he said, no, I'd rather go to Tennessee. I don't know that. They interviewed both of them. The Packers obviously had an interest in them, but they settled on Jeff Hafley. And I think the biggest thing is, unlike the last time they changed defensive coordinators from Mike Pettin to Joe Barry, they are more or less cleaning house on the defensive side of the ball. They've informed all those coaches that they can interview elsewhere. I know Jerry Montgomery is going to leave and go coach somewhere else after nearly a decade in Green Bay. So I think it's interesting that not only are they going to change their defensive approach and their defensive coordinator, but also their position coaches, at least some of them, if not all of them, as well.
Is Green Bay considered like average, below average, above average as a destination for coaches? I know for players, all things being equal, it may not always be the hippest place to live and all of that. But for coaches, where there is a lower cost of living, there is a quality of life where you can have kind of a normal life with your family. Like, do you have a sense of what that reputation is when it comes to trying to attract assistant coaches?
I do. I think that it is similar to players in that it depends on what you want from that experience. Now, I know that there were assistant coaches who were really happy in Green Bay because, for example, if your kids go to Ashwaubenon or Bayport or one of the Green Bay schools, or even Notre Dame, which is the private school, you're basically 10 to 12 minutes from Lambeau Field. So if your kid is in sports or in the drama club and in a show, you can leave work, go catch them performing, and then come back to work. And it's really convenient. Whereas, if you work for the Jets or somebody else, depending on where you live, not as convenient. At the same time, I would say that coaches do have the same desires, or maybe their families have the same desires that some players do, which is, boy, it'd be cool to work in LA and have our kids be able to go to Disneyland whenever they want, right? So I think the same applies, but I do think for especially coaches that are older, that have families, what I have found is a lot of them really like it in Green Bay because of all the things you mentioned.
Okay, so we think ultimately they're not like, oh, this is such a tough place to get, so we're just going to take whoever we can get because no coaches want to come here. So then to bring someone in from college who is a head coach, what do you think about the overall kind of profile of the new defensive coordinator?
So I personally like the hire. Now, regardless of who else was in the mix. And one of the reasons is that he has been a head coach. Now, he has not been a defensive coordinator in the NFL before. He also, technically, has never been a full-fledged, all-by-himself defensive coordinator. In 2019, at Ohio State, he was the co-defensive coordinator. But what I like about him is he's spent 4 years, and I know college players aren't the same as NFL players, although with the Packers roster, there's not as big of a difference as there might be on other teams. but he's been in the front of the room. And one of the things that I was just blown away by was in his postseason press conference. I think they lost on Saturday, so I think it was on a Monday, that Matt LaFleur, in back-to-back answers to questions, basically said he was open to giving up the offensive play-calling duties, to the point where, and I know Gary Ellerson gave me a hard time about it, and Rutledge and Hamilton did as well, because I was kind of like incredulous. I'm like, Matt, you can't just say that flippantly. Like, you're coming off of a year where, during the second half of the season, you and Jordan were complete sync. You would really give up the play-calling duties just to be more involved defensively? And, he kind of backed off a little bit and said, I just want to be clear that I'm willing to do that if it came to that. I'm not saying that I'm looking to do that. And with Jeff Hafley, he can be, theoretically, the head coach of the defense. And Matt LaFleur can say, hey, I've got a guy who for 4 years was in the front of the room at Boston College. He can command the room. He's going to be able to be the head coach of the defense, and I don't have to worry about it as much as I did during the stretch run after that Tampa Bay game with Joe Barry. So I think that's a really good thing. I also think that if you look at those, for example, those Baltimore assistants, they have the same or less experience as defensive position coaches as Hafley does. Hafley started out way back in 2012 in the NFL. He worked under Mike Pettin, which obviously Matt LaFleur kept him for a while, and it wasn't because he didn't like his defense that he moved on. I think it was more of a personality conflict and a feeling that, the loss to the Buccaneers got pinned on a defense that got 3 takeaways, and that Matt LaFleur admitted there was a, quote, miscommunication on the final play of the half when they got that big touchdown, if you remember that game. And so I don't think that they didn't like the Pettin scheme, because Pettin has influenced Jeff Hafley. And then the other person who's influenced him is Robert Saleh, who obviously is one of LaFleur's closest friends, who LaFleur really admires that style of defense. It's more aggressive than the Vic Fangio scheme. And so you put all that together, and I think Jeff Hafley's a pretty appealing candidate. Now, he's got to do it, but the other thing that I had a couple of people tell me from inside the building is that they think their guys are really going to like him. They think that he's really going to hit it off with players. And I don't know if that was the case initially with Joe Barry, but I definitely think that there were some instances where guys did not feel like their voices mattered, and I think that rubbed guys the wrong way. Whether or not they had a right to be ticked about that, I don't know. But I listened to a podcast with Hafley, with my buddy Matt Miyoko, who covers the 49ers for NBC Bay Area. And one of the things Hafley talked extensively about in that podcast was spending time around Darrelle Revis, both at Pitt in college and then again in the NFL with the Buccaneers. And he said the biggest thing he learned from being around a Hall of Famer is you have to give players a voice. You have to listen to them. And you don't always have to do what they say, but you have to listen to them because they're the ones that are out there. And I thought that was a really interesting thing to hear from him, considering how the Jair Alexanders and the Darnell Savages and others felt about kind of the way things went with Joe Barry.
When we continue with Jason Wilde, we are going to learn his view, and maybe Kyle's, maybe mine, on what things look like moving forward with Aaron Jones, David Bakhtiari, and Jair Alexander. Those 3 players next when we continue with Jason Wilde, brought to us by Boucher Automotive on Sunday Karma, ESPN Wisconsin.
This is Sunday Karma with Craig Karmazin on ESPN Wisconsin and WisconsinOnDemand.com.
Go beyond your field of study and get a world-class education in leadership by joining the U.S. Army ROTC. Army ROTC programs transform students into confident leaders and provide a wide range of scholarships to help pursue life-defining careers. As an Army officer, you'll work side by side with peers who support your growth. Gain the experience and get the resources to open doors down the road. Army ROTC is open for enrollment. Visit goarmy.com/ROTC to learn more about available opportunities and scholarships, including at Marquette University.
It's time for the Ortho ASAP Minute from Orthopedic Associates of Wisconsin.
Dr. Sam Steiner is with me. So someone suffers a sports injury and walks into OAW. What's next? In some cases, setting them up with a sports therapist through our facility and seeing if they can get back into what they want to do without surgery. And then in other cases, when we see them back, we follow them along. You're not assessing just their injury, you're assessing the patient. You want to understand their expectations, and based on that, that's where you go down a treatment algorithm to get them back into what they want to do.
Is it tough to take into account the human aspect of things and not just focus on the injury?
I think it's very challenging. And like I said, you have to be invested in the people you take care of to understand where they're coming from and what their expectations are. They just can't be a number and look at, say, an MRI and say, well, you have this, then we're going to do this. I think in every single circumstance, you have to take into account everything that you have and assess the patient, understand where they're coming from and what their expectations are.
The Ortho ASAP Minute is sponsored by Orthopedic Associates of Wisconsin. There is a difference.
What is dedication? People ask, how your children learn how to ride a bike and you didn't? I just created an environment where they taught themselves and all I had to do was be there. That's dedication. Visit fatherhood.gov to hear more. Brought to you by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services and the Ad Council.
Football guy.
Good morning, Tausch. How are you?
Football guy.
Old T's a little, I'm not feeling 100%.
Coming at it from different views.
No, just I think with all that little stuff that's going around and you had the long trip back from the loo. I'm going to grind.
Wilde and Tausch, presented by Pella Windows and Doors of Wisconsin. Also sponsored by Coors Light. Weekdays 9 to noon on 94.5 ESPN. And available wherever you get your podcasts with Wisconsin On Demand.
Q Club of Wisconsin is the hangout spot for watching sports, playing games, and having some drinks. Mike, what do you have going on over there?
Gary, we have so much going on. We're still the place to be on game days to catch the green and gold. Book a holiday party in our VIP room, which includes a private pool table, 2 shuffleboard tables, and 4 dartboards. Plus, we got great live music every Saturday night. And of course, we've got our fish fry on Wednesdays and Fridays, where you know we pile it high.
All happening at the Q Club of Wisconsin, North Grandview Boulevard in Waukesha. Check out qclubofwisconsin.com.
Hey, this is Jen Latta from Jen, Gabe, and Chewy. One of the best decisions I made recently was getting an infrared sauna from Good Health Saunas. They're a local business that's been around for 2 decades, based right in Appleton and Waukesha. Good Health Saunas are easy to install, cost as little as 25 cents a day, and include a true lifetime warranty. Even firefighters all across the country trust Good Health Saunas for sweating smoke out of their skin after fighting fire. Learn more at goodhealthsaunas.com. That's goodhealthsaunas.com.
ESPN Wisconsin's Mark Tauscher here for my friends at Kohler Services. Well, you thinking about updating your bath or shower? Turn to Kohler Services for end-to-end bath and shower remodeling, where Kohler design consultants and installers do the work for you. Family owned for 150 years, Kohler is your Wisconsin manufacturer providing care for life. Start enjoying your bath or shower right now with a special offer. Visit KohlerServicesWI.com to request your free quote with fast, professional installation always included. That's Kohler ServicesWI.com.
Hi everyone, John Miller here from PDS, a Converge company. PDS has been providing technology solutions and transforming IT for area companies for over 30 years. Today, we are helping organizations integrate digital workplace strategies that are giving today's worker the true ability to work from anywhere as they balance work and life both securely and productively. And as HP's largest partner in the area, our combined solutions have never been more important. If you're struggling with this, know we stand ready to help. From ideation to transformation, we can help you evolve your work from anywhere strategy. Learn more at pdsit.net.
The mirror's image, it tells me it's home time, but I'm not finished, 'cause you're not by my side. And as I arrived, I thought I saw you leaving, carrying your shoes.
Jason Wilde is brought to you by Boucher Automotive, where we ride with you every mile. 18 dealerships, 15 brands, and thousands of vehicles in stock. Check them out at Boucher.com.
All right, we continue with Jason Wilde, who rumors have, Kyle, Jason Wilde, maybe a little in-studio Wilde for the second hour, kind of wrapping up Packers season. Kyle, you're looking quizzical. You're the producer of the show. I assume you're the one who has been working on that all week.
Not at all. That means Jason must be in Milwaukee today.
I don't know. We'll find out, but let's head right to the tease, which was Aaron Jones, David Bakhtiari, Jair Alexander. Jason, let's go in whatever order you want. Let's go one at a time and figure out what each of their futures are with the Green Bay Packers.
All right. Well, let's start with Aaron Jones, and you know this. I've been doing this a really long time. That first season of 1996, when I was 24 years old, and now here we are in 2023, and a third potentially really, really good quarterback.
Jason, I was thinking about this. Have you been covering the Packers for half your life now? Like over half your life?
Yes, I have 28 seasons. This was my 28th season, and next month I will turn 52. So yes, definitely more than half.
All right.
Yeah, crazy. So here's that was not a humble brag or a boy am I really old brag. What I was about to say is I don't know if I've ever heard a general manager, including Ted Thompson or Ron Wolf, who was much more open than Ted Thompson, ever be as definitive about two players whose futures, I think the reason why you asked is because their futures should be and are uncertain in the rest of our minds. But Brian Gutekunst basically flat out said, Aaron Jones is coming back. And when asked if he would consider trading Jair Alexander, the direct quote was, no, twice. And so they will both be back on this team next year. And I thought that was a headline grabber to me because Aaron Jones' cap number is $17 million. He is 29 years old. He will turn 30 in December. Usually when you get to that age, teams are not willing to be that definitive about your future with them. He's going into the last year of his contract, and they committed to him. I mean, Brian Gutekunst flat out said how different they are. They have to figure out a way to keep him healthier than he was this year. But for him to say that, I was like, wow, that's a big statement. Now,
I love that. I love that on Aaron Jones, and I don't think that's a high cap number for him. And I think we even saw this year, maybe unfair because he has had a lot less wear and tear. But we saw Raheem Mostert, right, with Miami. Like, I don't know that the age thing has to be so definitive.
No, I agree. I just, again, I think they are a better team with him on the field. And he definitely, I would keep him, but I'm the guy that Jordy Nelson would still be lining up at the X receiver if I was in charge. So, look, I just thought it was really surprising that he wouldn't hedge. Like he did not hedge in his answer about him.
And so that means, Jason, that means you don't think with Aaron Jones that it's, hey, we need to renegotiate if you're going to be part. That means like, hey, you're making your money and everything's just as is, and we don't need to think about that question again this offseason?
No, I think it's going to be we're going to extend him. I think they're gonna like do like a new 3-year deal. He will get $17 million as part of it, which would have been what he would have gotten this year, and then they have him under contract for future years. So if they want to keep him, they have him under contract.
Why would he do that?
Because he would get a big upfront signing bonus. Like they would structure it in a way that he would get that $17 million guaranteed upfront. So it would work really well for him. Now, the Jair Alexander piece, I don't know, what did you think when you looked at, the way his season went? You were very critical of David Bakhtiari, and so I'd be curious, especially as someone who leads a company, how you would view the fact that he would be so definitive, we're not trading Jair Alexander.
And I wasn't critical of Bakhtiari. I was critical of the Packers for having David Bakhtiari if they're trying to reinvent their culture, right? Like, David Bakhtiari is an all-pro player who, on a lot of teams would be the right fit. I just didn't feel like he was the right fit to be one of the best players on a team that was rebuilding and was, trying to reset their culture. If they didn't think what Aaron Rodgers was doing, they wanted to continue. And Jair Alexander, by the way, feels very similar to this point. I mean, to me, I think this is more about Jair Alexander than the Packers. And does he want to be here? And with what attitude? And I don't know. Does this have to do with his relationship with Matt LaFleur, or does this have to do with his relationship with the new defensive coordinator or Joe Barry as the former defensive coordinator? Like, where did the Jair stuff go so wrong? Have we gotten to the root of that? Because I think I would need to understand that before I could even think about if he should be an important part of the future.
So I definitely think that there was a frustration with Joe Barry. You don't have to be Inspector Clouseau to get that feeling, because remember how mad he was in the opener in 2022 that he didn't match up with Justin Jefferson, and that the excuses of, well, then it makes it harder for the rest of the defense didn't really hold a lot of water.
Right, and then they played so well at the end of 2022. Their defense did, in my opinion, at least, including that Vikings game. I know the Lions game wasn't as good. And so to me, going into 23, I didn't even have this on my radar as like one of the big subplots of the season.
So I think that was part of it. I think Matt LaFleur did a less than stellar job of disguising or hiding his frustration with Jair's lack of physical availability with the back and the shoulder. I think that there was a feeling among some in the building that his injury was not as legitimate as Jair felt it was. So I think there was frustration there. I mean, we heard that. Let's be honest, there was some of that with David Bakhtiari early in the year, too, obviously, before he went on injured reserve and had the surgery. I thought that was one place where I would probably criticize Matt LaFleur. And I want people that I interview to be honest, so I'm being a little hypocritical here. But he did not manage that drama all that effectively. And Matt LaFleur did admit after the suspension of Jair Alexander that his communication on his side of that relationship wasn't good enough either. So I think that, I don't know if I believe wholeheartedly that, this was such a good thing for all of us and we're coming out on the other side so much better for it. I hope that's true. But again, I don't know enough about where Jair Alexander's head is at to fully grasp whether or not, okay, it's great that the Packers say they're not trading him. Is it possible that Jair Alexander, though, wants to be traded still and isn't happy and wants to play somewhere else? He had that Instagram post where, for many, it felt like he was saying goodbye to Green Bay. And so I don't know, and I have not spoken to him. He did not return my text messages looking for answers, not surprisingly. So I don't know where he is at, but that is a layer that we can't speak definitively on. We can, on the other hand, say that Brian Gutekunst flat out said he's not trading him. So maybe that is also a ploy to tell Jair, hey, you're stuck with us. We're not moving you. It would be a huge cap hit if they traded him at this point, and they think he can still play when he's healthy. So I that part of it, I think that story is not as clear cut as the Aaron Jones one is.
All right, so we mentioned Bakhtiari as the third. What happens with him?
I thought that the juxtaposition of how definitive Goody was about those other two guys, and then how uncertain he was in his comments about Bakhtiari, struck a very clear chasm between how he feels about the other two being on this team next year and about Bakhtiari. Now, in fairness, there is the question of Bakhtiari's health. But he could have easily said, look, if he's healthy enough and we feel like they've gotten this knee completely resolved, we want to have him on our team. We're better with him on our team. And he did not say anything even remotely approaching that. So I don't think that's, I think he was being, I don't want to say speaking in code, but I think he was basically saying, you heard what I said about these other guys. Now you heard what I said about Bakhtiari. Read the tea leaves. I mean, Bakhtiari's got a $40 million cap number. They will save $21 million in cap space by not having him on the team because his dead cap money is only like $19 million. So there are lots of benefits, and there's the issue of how much do you trust that this latest surgery will solve all that ails that left knee of his. I don't think the Packers want to go through another experience where they pay a guy $15 million to play in one game. So I do think his time with the Packers is most certainly over. I will be curious, though, if he gets a clean bill of health from not only a Packers doctor, but any doctor in the NFL. I would love to know what his market would be, because I still believe that if that is fixed, he can have like an Andrew Whitworth style second act. Like Andrew Whitworth had a really, really good career in Cincinnati, and then he went to LA and he had like another 6 good years there. I'm not sure that Bakhtiari can have that many good years there, but I definitely think that he could still have a very productive, high level 3 or 4 more years if that knee is fixed. Because you saw how he played in Chicago. He was terrific. And the question that I have is, will he be able to play again at that level? If he is, somebody's going to be very, very lucky to have him on their roster.
Yeah, and if we do get fortunate enough to have Jason here in studio with us, the thing I want to think about, which Kyle, are you over the loss yet? Like, where are you? Because you couldn't even watch the AFC and NFC championships last week. So where are you mentally now?
I'm in a good space. I'm in a good space now.
Yeah. So are you thinking about the Packers now as Super Bowl contenders for next year?
I believe the Super Bowl window is open, yes. I believe based off what we saw this year and really the 2 teams in the championship game, the Packers went toe-to-toe with both of them. They beat one and they were up on another, and they beat the Lions as well. So the Packers showed last year when they got hot, they were one of the better teams in the NFL, and that should carry over to next year.
Okay, Jason, are we going to have you in studio?
Yes.
Okay, then I'm not going to have you respond to that. I'm not going to have you respond to what Kyle just said about the window is officially open. But when we have Jason Wilde in studio this hour, we will have him address if he believes the window is now open. Thanks so much, Jason. Look forward to seeing you soon.
All right, guys. Take care. Be good. I'll see you in a bit.
Yep, there he is, Jason Wilde, who joins us in his regular spot, brought to us by Boucher Automotive, where we ride with you every mile. How about that? A little bonus season wrap-up with Jason Wilde in studio. Kyle, how you feeling about that?
That's fantastic. Hey, how'd you get the juice from him?
I just saw it on the rumors. I was looking online. I was studying the it was just I couldn't confirm it or deny it, but I was hearing those kinds of rumors going around.
I guess I suck at my job. I don't look at anything.
Well, yeah, that's what we've said. We've said you're a good host. You're a bad producer, but we like having you here every Sunday morning, just like you all. It is. I guess we'll figure out. This is how good we produce the show. We'll figure out if we have a 7 at 11 coming up next. It's Sunday Karma, ESPN Wisconsin.
This is Sunday Karma with Craig Karmazin on ESPN Wisconsin and WisconsinOnDemand.com.
The moment you've been waiting for is here. Eagle Sports Range is officially open for action. It's Wisconsin's largest indoor range, offering unlimited range time in 40 lanes, which include 20 20-yard lanes and 20 50-yard lanes, and no reservations needed. Just show up and let the fun begin. With a staggering selection of 100 firearm rentals to use, every visit is a new adventure. Eagle Sports Range is also a go-to for education. Take advantage of their concealed carry classes and gun safety courses. Safety first, excitement second. Visit them out in Cudahy or online at eaglesportsrange.com. Eagle Sports Range, where education meets exhilaration.
Every child deserves a safe, loving, and permanent home. Help the Dave Thomas Foundation for Adoption find families for children who've lingered in foster care the longest. Learn more at davethomasfoundation.org.
Hey, it's Kyle Wallace for Universal Windows Direct. If you've been cold in your own home, do not suffer through one more winter in a cold and drafty home. Call my guys at Universal Windows Direct. Super Spacer technology helps keep the edge of the glass warmer, holds the window sill longer, and makes the window last up to 5 times longer than other window systems. Schedule your free in-home estimate today, and for every 2 windows you buy, you get the next 2 free. Plus, a free upgrade to triple pane glass. Like me, you'll be saying, I love my windows.
Hey, it's Gary Olson here for Wisconsin Indoor Golf Center. Looking for that midday escape? Or maybe you want to impress a client? No matter the season, rain, snow, or shine, Wisconsin Indoor Golf Center is open for you. A top-tech, cutting-edge golf experience that gives you the chance to play legendary courses. Wisconsin Indoor Golf Center simulators, entertainment, and best Bloody Marys make it feel like summer all year round. Just $35 an hour gets you a round and puts that summer feel back in your life. Book your bay at WisconsinIndoorGolfCenter.com.
ESPN Wisconsin's Mark Tauscher here, and if you're like me, you're probably budgeting out the rest of your 2024. Well, now's the time to set preferred dates for booking Johnson & Sons Paving. Whether it's asphalt or concrete, they set the standard for your needs. Maybe it's patching now, but a full repaving later. Talk with a Johnson & Sons project manager and set yourself up with a 5-year game plan. Booking work now gives you all the time needed to get the right paperwork in place. Get started now at johnsonsonspaving.com.
Are you ready for the winter destination adventure? Look no further than Lutsen Mountains, where the magic of the Northwoods meets the thrill of the slopes. With over 1,000 acres of skiable terrain, Lutsen Mountains offers endless opportunities for fun, from the gentle slopes for beginners to heart-pounding off-piste runs for the experts. Enjoy breathtaking views of Lake Superior as you soar in our chairlifts, including the brand new Raptor Express 6-pack, and savor the cozy warmth of their slopeside condos at Eagle Ridge. Lutsen Mountains, celebrating 75 years in the legendary North. Visit Lutsen.com and book your stay now.
Hey, this is Homer. You're listening to the home of Marquette basketball. 94.5 ESPN is WKTI and WKTI HD Milwaukee.
A locally owned Good Karma brand station. It's that time.
Yes, it's fun.
Aside from a house or a car specifically, what is the most expensive thing you own? Wendy?
A car.
Name an animal with 3 letters in its name.
Alligator. Name something that's better than being rich.
4. Besides a bird, something in a bird cage.
Hamster.
Something that comes with a summer storm.
Snow.
Something Russia's famous for, Bob.
Russians.
Something a burglar would not want to see when he breaks into a house. Rob!
Naked grandma!
Reason you might stay indoors on a beautiful day.
Because it's raining?
Name something you might buy that could turn out to be phony.
A horse.
Name a time that most people get up.
In the morning.
A time most people go to bed.
At night.
This is the 7 at 11 on Sunday Karma with Craig Karmazin.
Kyle, you know what happened yesterday in college basketball that had not happened in over 20 years?
What is that?
3 top 10 teams played against each other on the same day.
Oh, and you got a 4th going today.
Exactly. So, and do you know who? Wait, so the 4th one, so this is crazy then, right? Because you have now Wisconsin, Purdue today, which is a monster game, right? 2 versus 6, and at the Kohl Center.
Uh-huh.
By the way, in that game, Purdue favored by 2.5. So, pretty much seen as an even game with the Badgers at home. Yesterday, you had those 3 games, Duke, North Carolina. Obviously, you had Houston going and laying an egg at Kansas. And then you had Tennessee winning at Kentucky. I mean, that's wild, right? So 8 of the top 10 teams playing against each other this weekend. You know who one of the other 2 teams is in the top 10?
Marquette?
Yes. How crazy is that? That the state of Wisconsin has 2 of the top 10 teams. And I know you could say that about the state of North Carolina with Duke and North Carolina, but you can't.
But that's Duke and North Carolina.
Right, exactly. That's my point. Like, that's crazy. Is that the most undertold story in sports of this year? Caught up in the Green Bay Packers' success and in the Milwaukee Bucks coaching change and Dame Lillard trade and Doc Rivers joining the team and all that? I mean, Marquette and Wisconsin are both in the top 10 at the same time in college basketball. I mean, is that, no one saw that coming. I mean,
I did.
I think we saw Marquette. I mean, we saw Marquette coming as having a big time year.
Well, matter of fact, I saw that Marquette was ranked 9th, and I said, Marquette's ranked 9th. What is Wisconsin ranked in? Because I didn't realize it, because I don't check the rankings every week. I knew Wisconsin was slowly rising and rising, but I would assume they were more like in the 9th position. I didn't realize they'd be 6th. Too bad they lost to Nebraska. But hey, this is going to be fun tonight or today if the Badgers can pull off the big upset.
Yeah, it is wild. It actually inspired me to consider a 7 at 11 around college basketball. And the 7 at 11 that I was going to do around college basketball was going to be around leading scorers in college basketball who ended up having like careers in the NBA. Because usually the leading scorer in college basketball does not end up in the mix in the NBA.
Nope.
Do you know who it was last year?
The leading scorer in college basketball last year? No idea.
Remember, he was the guy who was going for the record from Detroit Mercy, Antoine Davis.
Oh yeah, and they were what is it? They wanted to try to get into another game in some no-name tournament. Oh, look at this, Jason.
Hey, Jason Wilde's here. He ended up, he's not in the studio yet. He was just in the window. Does Jason not know how to get? Does he not have like the fingerprint and the app and all that to get in?
I'm sorry, I'm a bad producer. I have no idea what access he has.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, you don't know. All right, you're gonna go try to help him in. But the leading scorer in last year in all of college basketball actually plays this year for the Rip City Remix. Yeah, the Rip City Remix of the NBA G League. Year before that, leading scorer in college basketball plays in Bulgaria. Peter Kiss.
Yeah, just because you can score a lot of points doesn't mean it translates to the NBA.
I'm saying, year before that, Max Abmas, he's still in college. He transferred. Remember he was the guy from Oral Roberts who's now on Texas. Hey, why is Jason in there? Why isn't he in here?
I'm not sure. He's scared the bejeebus out of me, though.
Does he not? Has he never been here before?
Jason has done a show here. Willie and Tausch did a show here in the fall.
But you know who the leading scorer in the country was the year before that?
No, Craig, I don't know.
Marcus Howard.
Oh, wow, Marcus Howard. He averaged like 26 points per game?
Marquette's Marcus Howard, his senior year, I mean, he had to lead the country in scoring. So, I mean, and he had a little NBA career, but he's playing in the Spanish league and has played EuroLeague. So that's why we decided not to go there. And instead, we welcome Jason Wilde to the studio. Hey, Jason.
Hello, Craig.
Have you been here before?
I have, a few times.
Okay. But do you not have access like to Good Karma offices? Like teammates have like, you use your fingerprint, you get in. Are you not on that in that mix?
I do not think so, no.
Wow. Who knew that? Who knew that after 20 years or whatever as a teammate? I guess we'll call it, almost 20 years as a teammate.
Yeah, over 20 if you count all the times before when I was still fully Wisconsin State Journal employee.
Yeah, exactly. So, Jason, first of all, welcome.
Great to be here.
Is this your first time in studio?
No,
with me. With me.
You, for sure.
In however many years of doing this show.
Going back to the football show.
Wow, this is big. I mean, Kyle, this is a big moment. Good job as the producer booking this. See, Kyle barely even listens. Well, that's part of why he's a terrible producer.
Yeah. I just want to know. So, Jason, you just. I'm sure there's some bigger reason why you're here, or is it just because you wanted to visit and surprise us? Happy New Year.
Well, so the girls both competed in a gymnastics meet yesterday. They call it the Pink Meet. It is a not only a meet but a fundraiser for breast cancer awareness and prevention. And then in between, Sydney competed in 3 basketball games and a basketball tournament back in Wrightstown. So we drove down here, drove back to Wrightstown, drove back down here, and then Paula and Sydney have gone back to Green Bay, and Maddie is auditioning for some opportunities with the Milwaukee Ballet. So I thought I'd come over, see you guys, get a slice of pizza. I love the 3rd Street Market Hall.
It is great
Big
here.
Fan.
That pizza is a good spot. So wait, Kyle said the door's open. The window's open now, officially. Now, you and I were both on the same page, 6 wins-ish this year. Are you on the Kyle train that the Super Bowl window is officially open, or is he opening in the window a year too early?
No, I think it's open. Now, here's the problem. And Kyle, I feel like I've spent a good portion of this otherwise magical run kind of tamping down your excitement and expectations, or at least... between you and Tausch.
I was going to say, isn't Tausch the same way? Where Tausch has been saying this is a Super Bowl year this year? He thought the window was open this year.
He did.
Yeah, that was even bigger to me. I was happy with hopefully getting to the NFC Championship game.
And look, I understand where he's coming from. I mean, even Brian Gutekunst, when we talked to him midway through the week last week, he made a comment where with 5 minutes left in the game in San Francisco, he thought they were a Super Bowl team too. Which I kind of wanted to raise my hand and say, well, he still had to go to Detroit and beat them. But that speaks to how good he was feeling about his team.
Well, and they had gone to Detroit and beaten them already, so that would be a fair thought to have.
So I think one of my frustrations with both Kyle and with Tausch has been that it's not like they got cheated out of winning in San Francisco. Like, they were the ones who dropped the interceptions. They were the ones whose defense did not get the stop with the game on the line. They were the ones with the first-year kicker that missed a kick. And they were the ones whose quarterback, who was awesome for 9 straight games, threw a completely knuckleheaded interception that he would admit was a colossal mistake. And one of the things I like about Jordan Love is he doesn't need us to coddle him. Like, he doesn't need us to make excuses for the interception he threw. He knew that that was a really, really bad interception. So all those things tell me that they weren't ready yet. And again, being the old guy that's covered this team for so long, the 2009 team wasn't ready yet. The 1995 team that went to San Francisco wasn't ready yet. But this team was like those. Now, does that mean next year? Because the 95 team led to the 96 team that won the Super Bowl. The 09 team led to the 10 team that won the Super Bowl. I'm not saying that the 24 team will win the Super Bowl. I think there's probably another intermediate step there first. But I wouldn't be surprised if they are playing on Super Bowl Sunday in February of 2026 at the end of the 25 season.
Is it wrong to think that next year they should take the next step to an NFC Championship game?
No, I don't think that's wrong at all. Now, I think it is incumbent in part on their defense and whether they hired the right guy and whether they replenish. Look, if they could have...
But also, when you say that, like, there's other teams, right? So, like, when you say that, Kyle, like, who would you, honestly, if you had to say, is more likely to be there right now, the Lions or the Packers?
In the NFC Championship game?
Yeah.
I mean, I guess the Lions because they got there. So I would say the
because they got
Lions,
there.
yeah.
They're kind of a year ahead of the Packers if you're looking at them on the same.
100% are a year ahead. Though both teams, this is the first time the Lions have made the playoffs and been a little bit of a while there. And the first time they won a playoff game since what, 93 was it?
Yeah,
92 something. Like that.
So who's more likely to be there next year, the 49ers or the Packers?
I would say the 49ers. There are teams that should be there before the Packers, but you would have said the Dallas Cowboys should have been there maybe before the Lions and before the Packers.
So that's why I'm saying it's such a high bar just to say it's. That's why the Super Bowl is even a higher bar, right? To say, and I know this isn't the AFC where it's like quarterback hell that you're going against in the AFC, but I that's where I tend to be with Jason, that like, sure, it's possible that they could be in the NFC Championship. And if you're in the NFC Championship, sure, it's possible you could end up in the Super Bowl. But like, when we look at the Super Bowl this year, it's the 49ers and the Chiefs. And I mean, those are two of the top 3 teams that were expected to be there, along with the Eagles at the start of the season. So if the Packers are maybe the 7th or 8th team, it's possible, but I don't think we could really have that as like our expectation for that young of a team next year to be in the NFC Championship. To me, if they're in the playoffs back-to-back years, that would be huge.
But
Jordan Love to start his career with back-to-back consistent enough seasons, and I know there's an extra playoff spot now, so maybe there should be a slightly higher bar than just making the playoffs, but maybe double-digit wins, something like that.
So you think doing the same thing they did this year will be a step in the right direction for the Green Bay Packers?
Yeah, I just think they got hot at the right time this year.
No, that's setting the bar too low. The expectations here in Green Bay, when they're Super Bowls. We want the knock on Aaron Rodgers is what? The fact that he did not make more appearances in the Super Bowl, did not win more Super Bowls. Brett Favre, same thing.
Yep.
And so that is the standard that we have set here in Green Bay, and I'm not going to change that standard just because we have a young team. That young team showed us that they have a lot of talent. And so the standard for me next year, I think it's either NFC Championship or bust.
I mean, Jason.
Goody Wallace over here.
Yeah.
Goody felt good about him, too.
He did. You sound like him. I mean, now, here's another issue that I have. So at one point in the press conference on Thursday, he says that the Super Bowl is always the expectation, and that never changes around here. At the same time, he also admits that when they were 2-5 and we were wondering if they were any good at all, they altered expectations and made it to, hey, let's focus on weekly improvement. Let's not worry about the results. So you can kind of shift it as it fits the team.
So why'd they trade Rasul Douglas?
Because they didn't think they were going to be in the position they were.
Okay.
And
so
he's
it wasn't
never going
like
to admit that, but that's exactly what it was.
They won a 3rd-round draft pick.
And they didn't get a 3rd-round draft pick. You know, you do that just to irritate me. They traded Rasul Douglas and a 5th-round pick to get a 3rd-round pick. So they moved up 40-ish spots so they could draft someone in the 3rd round. So now they have 5 picks in the first 2 days.
Was he viewed as a negative in some way off the field or something?
I don't think so.
Or were they trying to do him a solid to like get him with a team where he could play for the playoffs? Like that's the one move that, again, if it was like, hey, we had given up on the season at that point, I understand, but that move in a vacuum seems weird.
No, I think they were giving up on the season. Goody will never, ever admit that, but he tacitly admits that when he says to us on Thursday that they were at a point where it was, all right, let's just focus on the process. Let's not focus on the results. When have you ever heard a general manager who's not coaching, say, a tanking NBA team say that phrase? Like, that he admitted that, I thought was very telling, and he had also admitted it with his behavior of trading Rasul Douglas.
Yeah, and so when you look at going into next year, and I don't know that any of this has to do really with what the Bears do, or the Vikings, for that matter, do at quarterback.
Right.
But, I don't know that Kyle, are you saying they should win the division next year? Are you saying you're going to be disappointed if they don't win the division?
I mean, again, I understand who and what the Lions are. They're not going anywhere anytime soon. They're a good team. They kept their offensive coordinator, and they're going to compete for the division next year. I'm not going to say the Packers should win it, but I expect the Packers and the Lions to be going neck and neck to try to win the NFC North next year. This season.
I looked at the Packers and the Bears. They had similar seasons this year.
Stop it.
Okay.
Oh.
If you take out the 2 head-to-head games, okay? Take out the 2 head-to-head games. I think, do they have the same record, Jason? The Packers and the Bears?
So the Packers got 2 wins against the Bears. They finished 9-8, so then they're 7-8.
Yep.
The Bears lost both games to the Packers. You take out those 2 losses, and they're 7-8.
Yeah. So they basically had the same season, except when they played each other, and that matters, right? Head-to-head matters.
Sure.
And it's amazing how those 2 games changed the entire shape of how we look at everything. Right? I mean, Kyle, you're just sitting there with your mouth open, aghast at me.
The Bears were an okay football team. They were a below-average football team, and the Packers showed at the end of the season that they got hot. They were a real hot team, unlike the Bears who got hot at the end of the season where everybody gave them credit. No, they're not the same. They did not have the same season.
They were the same season.
They still don't know who their quarterback is.
They both lost to the Broncos.
Fired their offensive coordinator. There are a lot of different.
They fired their defensive coordinator. The Packers. No, the Packers did.
I'm saying
the Packers did. I'm saying I think to act like these teams are so far apart, I think teams are closer together always than we think they are. But I think, Kyle, you hit on it.
The quarterback position means everything.
That's what I was going to say. The quarterback position means everything. So much about the NFC Central to me is what happens with the quarterbacks. So, Jason, if we know that Goff and Love are back, what's going to happen with the 2 other teams in the division at quarterback?
Yeah, that's the question.
Sorry, NFC North. My bad.
Here's my thing. If you look at the NFC right now, which quarterback would you absolutely, positively, without even hesitating, say you'd rather have than Jordan Love, based on what you saw? And again, he did throw a critical, defeat-clinching, season-ending interception with a chance to go tie or win the game. But what you saw from him...
Wait, Kyle, that's a great question, Kyle. All right, so who in the NFC right now would you definitively rather have than Jordan Love? Dak Prescott?
No.
Okay. Jalen Hurts?
Jalen Hurts is the cautionary tale for Packers fans, right? Because people in Philadelphia were feeling about Jalen Hurts the way Packers fans are feeling about Jordan Love now, and he obviously regressed last season. Right?
I crowned Jalen Hurts, and I still believe he is. I think it was injuries and stuff. I'm still a Jalen Hurts believer. I'm not jumping off that bandwagon that quick. I think Jalen Hurts I would take over Jordan Love, although the injuries, man, Jason, that's a great... I just went through it. You can't go Kyler Murray over him right now. I don't think you can. You can't go Matt Stafford. I mean, maybe for one season, but even that. I mean, if you're picking an NFC quarterback right now,
Jared Goff?
I don't think there's... I mean, Jared Goff, again, you could take him for 1 year, but definitively, I don't think if you're the Packers, you would trade your current quarterback position with anyone else's situation in the entire NFC.
Yeah, I don't think so either.
Nope.
I mean, that's pretty amazing. I mean, that's incredible.
Which is why it's okay for Kyle to dream a big dream like he is. But again, there are so many, and I'm glad you brought this up, because this is one of my frustrations with trying to be the voice of reason for fans. And I know fans don't always want to hear the voice of reason.
Right.
But it's really, really freaking hard to win a Super Bowl, and you need things to go your way.
Dude, look at the Baltimore Ravens.
Right.
Look at the Tennessee Titans had a window where they were one of the best teams. Like, a lot of these teams, and Lamar Jackson's a Hall of Famer who's won 2 MVPs, right?
Mm-hmm.
You know, and they, you know,
he had his worst day at the worst possible time. The Detroit Lions, you know, you want to talk about how Packers fans are disappointed, or you're saying what if because of the opportunities that Kyle or Tausch felt like they let literally slip through their fingers. How about Brandon Ayuk catching a critical pass? Remember, the penalty was picked up on that, so there was no flag. That bounces off of the Lions defender's face, and he catches it to set up a touchdown. And then the Lions fumble on the ensuing possession, and they go in and score again. Like, if you're a Lions fan, you know.
I mean, look at this, Jason. I have up the game cast of that game. Lions at 91.5% to win that game, up at 24-10.
That's why you played a game.
2nd and 10 at San Francisco's 36. 91.5% to go to the Super Bowl for the Detroit Lions.
I saw all those highlights. I couldn't watch the game.
But you're going to watch the Super Bowl, even though you think the Packers should be there too, like Tausch does.
No, I'll watch the Super Bowl. To be honest, very, very open. I did not think the Packers would win the game against Detroit in Detroit after that. I didn't have the feel like this was the absolute year we were going to the Super Bowl. So that's why I was hesitant to say that the NFC Championship game was the Packers versus 49ers, because Detroit is a really good football team, and though we might have stomped them in Detroit, they still came to Green Bay and beat us up.
Yeah. Now, so, Jason, who are the 2 other starting quarterbacks this year in the NFC North?
So I don't know what they're going to do with Kirk Cousins. It feels to me like they do not have a clear-cut succession plan. They wanted to acquire Trey Lance. They were in those trade talks, and then the Cowboys snapped him up, which makes me wonder, they plan on him sitting for another year, and Dak Prescott and Mike McCarthy both play out the last year of their contracts, and Trey Lance is their starting quarterback in 2025.
With Bill Belichick as the coach?
Maybe. I think it's going to be really fascinating to see what the Vikings do. I don't. It feels to me like they're more likely to bring back Kirk Cousins as a stopgap for next season.
So, okay, so likely you got Goff, you got Love, you got Cousins.
And Caleb Williams.
So Caleb Williams. Okay, so
I just think it's so. And again, you know, I talked to Waddle and Sylvie about this. I actually had this conversation with Sylvie off the air too, because I was just really curious what feeling he got. Like, everyone loves everything about Justin Fields except his inability to consistently throw the football well, right? Like, he is. If you were building a prototype for the type of quarterback leader that you would want on your team, he has all of the traits, except you don't know if he'll ever get quite good enough throwing the football, which is obviously the most vital part of the on-field aspect of your job.
And so is he worth a number 1 pick? Is he worth what is Justin Fields worth?
I think there's people that know this better than I do. Their expectation was that he was worthy of a 2nd-round pick.
Yeah. So, all right. So then you're looking at a rookie quarterback. And Kyle, as a Packers fan, which would you rather have?
I'd rather have Justin Fields.
Yeah.
I'd rather have, if they do not draft Caleb Williams, that is a failure of their organization.
And look what C.J. Stroud is. I mean, you've got the replay of the Pro Bowl games. I just saw C.J. Stroud was participating in one of the throwing competitions.
But look what Bryce Young was this year.
Right.
So who knows,
You don't
right?
know what you're going to get.
Those two teams, and I mean, it seems like the Texans have some better pieces around a more stable organization.
But you wouldn't have thought that going into last year.
I mean, I didn't think.
You didn't think of D'Amico Ryans.
I didn't think the Texans would be this good, but I didn't think the Panthers would be that bad.
Right, and that's why this is crazy. So then you look at the NFC. The Eagles, is their window closing, or are they still there when we think about the Eagles?
There were people that thought Nick Sirianni was getting fired, right?
Yeah.
I mean, who knows what their window is? It's certainly not as wide open as it appeared to be a year ago. I would argue that it's open, but if it's a Pella window, it's one of those that you can open just a tiny little bit, or you can open it wide. I would say that theirs is not as open as it was a year ago.
Because I think those are the teams, basically, right? It's Dallas, Philly, Detroit, Green Bay,
San Francisco. Maybe the Rams are the other one.
Rams had a Packers-esque season this year.
I would agree. And while their quarterback is older, they did a really good job of infusing young talent into their roster.
They completely rebuilt from that Super Bowl team. It doesn't resemble that team. except for Stafford and Cooper Kupp and Aaron Donald, I guess, right? Those three guys.
Yep.
And they're right there too. I think that's fair. So, I mean, that's the race right now. And yeah, Kyle, I think you got to set it at 10 wins. I mean, 10 wins would be a huge year for the Packers.
10-7, is that what that would be?
You'll be disappointed in 10-7, won't you?
I would be very disappointed in 10-7. That's only one. That's only an increase in one victory over this season.
Now, what place were the Packers third place last year? So they had a third place schedule, or what was the deal there?
Yes, the Vikings and the. Well, no, were they only? I'll have to look.
Yeah,
they were 8-9. No, they would have been a second place schedule.
Okay, so they did have the same schedule that theoretically they'd have this year. And last year they played the AFC.
No, the
West.
Vikings won the division last year. They had a third place schedule. I'm sorry.
Okay, so they have, as they go forward to next year, when you look at it, and they beat the Chiefs, so they kind of played. I mean, you look at that division. The fact that they ended up losing to Denver out of that division is kind of interesting, right? They lost to Denver and Vegas, and they beat the Chargers in Kansas City. So the two teams you would have thought they would have beat coming into the year, they lost to, and the two teams they lost to, you thought they would have lost to, they beat.
So here are their 2024 opponents.
Yeah.
Chicago, Detroit, Minnesota.
Okay, wait, Kyle. Chicago, Detroit, Minnesota. 6 games. What's their record against the 3 division teams?
5-1.
Okay.
4-2. Arizona.
Win or loss? Arizona.
Win. These are home games.
Oh, okay.
Arizona home.
This is your vote.
Win?
Yep.
San Francisco at home.
I say a win, big upset there.
Yep.
Houston at home.
I'll say we'll lose.
Okay.
Indianapolis at home.
Anthony, that's going to be a tricky one. This defense, I think Packers should win, but that defense is going to be tricky, especially with Anthony Richardson. I don't know what to expect.
Okay, so you got that as a win, though.
I'll chuck it up.
2 more home games. New Orleans.
Win.
And Miami.
Loss.
Okay.
On the road, Chicago, Detroit, Minnesota.
We already did that.
Well, I guess Miami depends on when we're playing them.
That's fair. At the Rams.
Loss.
At Seattle.
Win.
Okay.
At Jacksonville.
Jacksonville's tricky. Probably loss.
At Tennessee.
Win.
And at Philly.
Loss.
Okay, 11-6. So
okay, there it
so
is.
Kyle, who's optimistic, again, obviously matchups when it happens, all that 11-6.
Right.
All right, we'll talk more about the Packers. Jason Wilde in studio. Sunday, Jen Latta from Jen, Gabe, and Chewy's going to join us as we continue. Sunday Karma, ESPN Wisconsin.
It's Sunday Karma with Craig Karmazin on ESPN Wisconsin and WisconsinOnDemand.com.
Hey, wouldn't it be great if life came with a remote control? You know, you could hit pause when you needed to, or hit rewind, like that time you knocked down that wasp's nest. Uh-oh. Well, life doesn't always give you time to change the outcome, but prediabetes does. With early diagnosis and a few healthy changes, you can stop prediabetes before it leads to type 2 diabetes. To learn your risk, take the 1-minute test today at doihaveprediabetes.org. Brought to you by the Ad Council and its prediabetes awareness partners.
I had a really strange experience today.
Strange how?
A man walked into the store who was only about 2.5 feet tall.
What?
And he was carrying a bow and arrows.
Did he sort of have a baby face?
Yes. How did you know?
Sarah, that was Cupid.
Oh.
Did he give us a thumbs up?
Yes, 3 times.
So tell us, what are the Cupid-approved gifts for Valentine's 2024?
He loved our diamond stud earrings starting at $198.
We have 186 different styles and sizes.
And we have more than 1,400 pair in stock.
And Cupid loved our $98 diamond pendant.
It looks like it's worth a lot more.
And every purchase of $298 or more includes a fabulous free travel case to safely transport all of your jewelry.
But mostly, he loved the 4-carat total weight wow diamond engagement ring for less than $4,000.
Welcome to Kessler's for Valentine's Day.
Cupid approved.
Find the Kesslers nearest you at KesslersDiamonds.com.
Do you love winning? This February, head to Potawatomi Casino Hotel Milwaukee and fall head over heels with the Love It or Leave It $400,000 game show. Thursday nights, you could play the Love It or Leave It game show where you can love your prize or leave it for another. Play with your club card to earn drawing entries. Top prize is $10,000 in cash. It's time for Love It or Leave It. Only at Potawatomi. Learn more at pacebig.com. Must be 21 years old and a club member to play.
This is ESPN Wisconsin's Brad Nortman, here to tell you about my favorite go-to drink. That's Carbless. Carbless is a ready-to-drink, handcrafted vodka and tequila cocktail. Even better, it's 0 carbs, 0 sugar, 0 gluten, and just 100 calories. And listen to this, less carbonation. This leads to less bloat. I can indulge in something delicious without having that health guilt. Carbless is crafted right here in Wisconsin. It has a flavor for everyone, from black raspberry to cranberry, pineapple and lemon, and my favorite, margarita. Find Carbless online and at a retailer near you. Less is more.
ESPN Milwaukee's Gabe Neitzel. I've spent a while telling you about Mentality because it works. Not just for me, though. Take it from fellow Mentality user Jason. He's got a new lease on life thanks to Mentality.
Process was easy. It really, truly was. And the individuals that work at Mentality, very helpful, very respectful. It was an easy out. You go in a week after, they give you the results right away. And once you find that you're able to do it, just that thought, the energy already picked up a little bit. Most of it could have been mentally wise, but knowing that, hey, I get to start this, it was incredible.
Learn more today at LowTUSA.com.
Hi everyone, John Miller here from PDS, a Converge company. PDS has been providing technology solutions and transforming IT for area companies for over 30 years. Today, we are helping organizations integrate digital workplace strategies that are giving today's worker the true ability to work from anywhere as they balance work and life both securely and productively. And as HP's largest partner in the area, our combined solutions have never been more important. If you're struggling with this, know we stand ready to help. From ideation to transformation, we can help you evolve your work from anywhere strategy. Learn more at pdsit.net.
It's time for the Ortho ASAP Minute from Orthopedic Associates of Wisconsin.
Dr. Sam Steiner is joining me. How important is it that actual surgery is viewed as a last option?
The way we always want to treat people is try and do something least invasive to get people where they want to be. And in some cases, that means talking to them, setting them up with a therapist, explaining what they have going on. And in other cases, if it comes to it, then yes, it means operating on them.
When you're dealing with very active people, how do you help them handle the entire process of recovery?
The hardest part with some patients is explain to them that even though you feel great, you do have to have a period where you lay off, you adhere to precautions and protocol. But I think when you take a person, you have them do the least invasive procedure. That's what we want to do, is we want to be forefront, cutting edge, doing the least invasive possible to get people back onto a protocol that gets them back into the activity they want to do the fastest.
The Ortho ASAP Minute is sponsored by Orthopedic Associates of Wisconsin. There is a difference.
My house has a new glow. I love my windows. Universal Windows Direct.
Hey, it's Kyle Walls, and right now, schedule your free in-home estimate, and for every 2 windows you buy, you get the next 2 free, plus a free upgrade to triple pane glass, and they'll double your energy tax credit. Restrictions apply. You'll be saying, I love my windows.
I love my windows. They've got that brand new home effect. Universal Windows Direct.
Go beyond your field of study and get a world-class education in leadership by joining the U.S. Army ROTC. Army ROTC programs transform students into confident leaders and provide a wide range of scholarships to help pursue life-defining careers. As an Army officer, you'll work side by side with peers who support your growth. Gain the experience and get the resources to open doors down the road. Army ROTC is open for enrollment. Visit goarmy.com/ROTC to learn more about available opportunities and scholarships, including at Marquette University.
Protect your dream home with American Family Insurance. And you can weather any storm. You'll also save up to 25% by bundling home, auto, and life. American Family Insurance. Get a quote. Find an agent at amfam.com.
Products not available in every state. Discounts may not apply to all coverages on an auto or home policy. Discounts do not apply to life insurance policies. Visit amfam.com to learn how discounts may apply to you. American Family Mutual Insurance Company, SI, and its operating companies, American Family Life Insurance Company, 6000 American Parkway, Madison, Wisconsin.
I get up, I get down, and I'm jumping around, and the rumpus and ruckus are comfortable now. Been a heck of a ride, but I'm thinking it's time.
This is Sunday Karma with Craig Karmazin on ESPN Wisconsin and WisconsinOnDemand.com.
What a special day this is. We have Jason Wilde in studio for the first time in 20 years on Sunday Karma, formerly the football show. We have Jen Latta from Jen, Gabe, and Chewy on the phone joining us. Good morning, Jen.
Good morning, guys.
Jen, we're both having to pay off our bets, right? You lost our Cover 5 contest in 2022. I lost it in 2023. I've already agreed. I have to go 24 hours to George Webb and sit there. I'm not allowed to have any meetings. I can't have any technology. I can't have anything. I have to sit there for 24 hours. The only way I could decrease that time is every time I ate a pancake, I get to decrease it by an hour. So I don't know what this means, if this is going to be 16, 17 hours. Your penalty, seemingly less on the surface. You need to take the ACT standardized test. And you've said you're ready to go. You do not feel like you need prep courses. You're just ready to take this thing.
Yeah, because this doesn't affect anything in my life. It's not as though I'm trying to get into college. It's not as though the score I get on the ACT will affect my job security. So I don't care. I literally need you. I may go in there and just go C, all the way down the standardized test.
Wait, Kyle.
Well, that's not the
allowed.
spirit.
Jason.
That's not the spirit of the challenge, is it?
Wait, Jason, now you're very proud of your ACT score, Jason, right? What was your ACT score?
I got a 36.
Yep. Okay. 36.
What? Are you kidding me?
No.
A 36?
And my parents wanted me to be a doctor.
Yeah, I'm going to say.
Didn't work out the way they hoped.
You're a great journalist, but you're not.
He was the valedictorian of his high school and got a 36 on the ACTs. And he hasn't worn long pants in 15 years at this point.
Yeah, Jason, you went and you were going to be successful any career that you went. But your parents, I'm sure they love everything that you've done. But
that's for a totally different show.
For better health.
Yeah. We might need a long-term relationship with better help to figure out that relationship. So, but let's go back to Jen here. Jen, now you were a 29 on the ACTs.
I got a 29. And that score got me waitlisted at Northwestern, which I was very disappointed about at the time. But I've told this story before. And when we went and visited Northwestern, we're from Northern Illinois, and they're giving us the tour, and I'm so impressed with the campus and really hoping to make a good impression. And they say, does anyone have any other questions about life at Northwestern? And I said, I was just wondering about your Greek life. Do you have a sorority row or anything? And my father did not speak to me for the remainder of the visit and the entire ride home. I had embarrassed him so sufficiently with my inquiry about the sorority and Greek life at Northwestern.
I mean, that seems like a fair question to me. And so you end up cheerleader at Marquette.
Well, yeah, when you're 16, 17 years old, that's, whatever. That was a priority for
What
some
did they
reason.
say?
But yes, I ended up... that's a great question, Jason. I haven't ever thought about what they said.
You're too busy looking at your dad in his disappointment that he's feeling.
See, that's the thing. You, as a father of your two daughters, I'm sure you can recognize, yes, that's immediately what it was. The words left my mouth, and as they were, entering the ether, I glanced over in his direction, and everything else just kind of went, home, so the people were probably talking, and it was the Charlie Brown wah 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 wah.
So you end up leading to a historic journalism career, just like that of Jason Wilde, at the two top 10 college basketball schools in Wisconsin and Marquette. And so now, Jen, I think there should be if Jen doesn't score over a 20, and I know because in my bet, there were rules put in after the fact. I feel like you should have to take it over and over again until you score in the 20s at least.
Now, why would I agree to that?
Well, I just agreed that I'm not allowed to have any face-to-face business meetings at George Webb
an orange jumpsuit
when I'm there. I did not agree to the orange jumpsuit. We already have a co-host. We already have a co-host of one of us that has a picture in an orange jumpsuit that shows up way too often. So we know we don't want to take one of those pictures because we don't know how often those will show up. Correct, Jen?
Mm-hmm.
But listen, I think that now we're talking chaos. Now we're talking anarchy. You can't change the stipulations of a bet after the fact.
But there has to be good faith when you go through a bet. You could walk in and then walk out and say, "Oh, I took the ACTs." That doesn't count.
So so
long as I fill in the answers.
If I could be the arbiter here briefly, you did open the door with your C statement. If you take the test in good faith and do your best, Now I'm sounding like your dad. If you do your best, I don't think anyone has an issue, but you kind of open the door for us to now be curious just how much effort you intend to put forth. That's all.
Well, but that was never discussed. There was never any suggestion of, and you have to do your best. It was, you have to take the ACT.
Wait, parenting sidebar here. If your kids do their best and get a really bad grade, are you fine with it or are you not fine with it?
Not fine.
Okay, so Jen, if
and
you're...
I'll tell you why. I don't tell you why, because I know what his best is, right? Like, there's a history, there's a resume, so we know what Chase's best work looks like. So if he falls short of that... Now, look, any given Sunday, any given day, maybe you have an off day, maybe you have a bad day, but then you have to articulate that, right? It can't just be like, oh, I did my best. You know, like, that's not a catch-all excuse for a poor performance.
Jason?
So since you outlined my resume for my academic career, I just got done. Maddie had to go through the process because she'll be a freshman next year. And the conversation I had with her advisor was, look, I was the valedictorian of my class. If Maddie's a valedictorian of this high school, I will be disappointed. I want her to have a more well-rounded high school experience. And if she gets a B, it is not the end of the world, which is how it was treated in my home. So if she does her best and those are A's and B's and she's a well-rounded
Wait. No,
kid,
she does her best and those are A's, B's, and C's.
I'm okay with a C also.
AC. Okay, AC.
Maybe 2, whatever.
Okay.
Unfortunately, she has a perfect 4.0 going too, so she takes after her mother.
Yeah. Mr. Valedictorian says that in a awkward, self-deprecating way there.
No, her mother is very... She does not agree with me on the no... That B's
so
and
for
C's
hers,
are okay.
Okay. So she's more on the Jen train over here. She's more on the Jen train. You didn't try your best if you didn't get the good grades.
Indeed.
You can't tell me you tried your best.
Indeed.
Okay. All right. So back to this Jen thing. I don't know that Jen. So you're saying you could say C, and that's fine, and you've paid off your bet?
Well, that would just be for the Spanish portion of the test.
Okay. All right. Then you say no.
No, it's not bad. That was pretty good, actually. Took me a while to figure that out.
I plan on going in and, because I am genuinely curious, like however many years it's been, 30 years removed from taking the ACT. I am curious how much of that knowledge I've retained. I'm also curious if Chase, having been in that space, right, because he's a freshman in high school, and so I do help him with his homework occasionally, and so I do have refresher courses occasionally on some of the material. I'm genuinely curious, but the bottom line, Craig, is like, I know that you and I have a long-standing relationship, and you've known me for a really long time, and I am a recovering perfectionist, right? Like, There was a very long time where, like, how I performed was somehow indicative of my worth. But through therapy and growth and evolution, I have learned that is not the case, right? And that's awesome. Because, Jason, it sounds like maybe you and I were raised in similar households. So I am to the point now where if I take the ACT and I get a 12 on it, it'll be good for content. It'll be good for laughs. But I'm not going to let it affect, like, my opinion of myself, because the ACT at this stage of my life literally has no bearing on my success.
I agree, and I don't think that score should define you, but I think if you get a 19, you should have to take it again.
Yes, you've made that very clear.
I mean, or you have to sit with me at George Webb. How about this?
Can I also say one thing? This was a booby trap from the start, because y'all are playing Cover 5, and you have what I don't have in the fall, which is time. So the reason I lost, honestly, and Kyle knows this, is because probably 8 out of the however many weeks it was, 8 out of the, let's just say, 15 weeks, I literally never played.
Well, Jen, I know I have all the time in the world. I just have all the time in the world. I have no other responsibilities, so I could just work on my Cover 5, and I lost also. So we're in the same boat. So okay, how about this deal? Since Jen has all the time in the world once the fall's over, if she gets under 20, then she has to sit in George Webb with me for 24 hours.
Not for 24 hours, but I'll come visit.
Oh, so nice. It's
to be honest with with you, Craig. You should just recruit people to spend an hour with you.
Ooh.
And it's not business, right? We're not doing like reviews or anything, but we just kind of catch up.
All right, we're done with Jen. Thanks so much for joining. We don't
Kyle does not want to make this easier for me in any way. All right, well, we'll get Jen. Jen's going to be scheduled soon. She'll be taking her ACTs. I will be paying off my bet at George Webb, and you can listen to Jen, Gabe, and Chewy every Monday through Friday from 7 to 9, leading into Wilde and Tausch. How about that? Jen, by the way, as someone who grew up in the Chicago area and is now a firmly entrenched Wisconsinite, give us your rankings of the NFC North in order predicted for next season, as it stands right now.
Packers, Lions, Vikings, Bears.
Wow. Packers over the Lions there, Kyle.
I think there's too much chaos. There's just still too much chaos in Chicago, right? And I've told you this before. Like, I have a good relationship with George McCaskey, but I think it's time that the McCaskeys found different ownership.
Yeah. All right. And you have them ahead of the Lions next year. That's the big breaking news story there from Jen Latta. Jen, thank you for joining us as always.
Thanks, guys. Have a great day.
Yep, there she is, Jen Latta. When we continue, we have our Palermo's picks, including finding out, because I haven't been on social media to see, has Jason Wilde watched the We Are the World documentary yet? And does Kyle Wallace even know what We Are the World is based on his age? We will find that out as we continue. It's Sunday Karma, ESPN Wisconsin.
You're listening to Sunday Karma with Craig Karmazin on ESPN Wisconsin and WisconsinOnDemand.com. Spending more time at home? Don't forget that 94.5 ESPN's on your smart speaker. Just ask Alexa to open 94.5 ESPN. 94.5 ESPN on Alexa is presented by Gruber Law Offices. One call, that's all.
If only life had a remote control, you could pause or rewind. Well, life doesn't always give you time to change the outcome, but prediabetes does. Take the 1-minute risk test today at doihaveprediabetes.org. Brought to you by the Ad Council and its prediabetes awareness partners.
One call, that's all. That doesn't mean that it's one call and Gruber Law Offices isn't going the distance, right? One call means that your stress is gone, that you don't have to worry about it from that point forward, right? That they can help advise you on what you need to do to be able to take care of yourself, and they'll take care of the rest. They've done it for tens of thousands of Wisconsinites over 30 plus years. That's how Gruber Law Offices is nationally recognized while still being family operated and owned and based right here in Wisconsin. You see how engaged they are in the community. You see their love of the same teams that you have. And that is why I always tell everyone, if you're ever injured, if a loved one ever is injured, there is no decision to make because it actually means something. It's one call, that's all, with Gruber Law Offices.
And the beat goes on for Marquette.
Call it heat check 3.
Ready to conquer the Midwest premier winter playground? Then start planning a visit to Granite Peak. With over 200 acres of skiable terrain, Granite Peak has something for everyone, from beginners to seasoned pros, park skiers to mogul fanatics, and everything in between. Soar to new heights on their state-of-the-art chairlifts and warm up in the cozy historic chalet with roaring fireplaces and stunning views. A legendary winter adventure begins at Granite Peak. Don't miss out. Visit skigranitepeak.com to book your winter vacation now, and for more information, Granite Peak. Legendary winters, legendary fun.
The only thing that tops our selection is your savings discount liquor.
Hi, this is Marie from Discount Liquor, Southeastern Wisconsin's beer, liquor, and wine headquarters. For over 60 years, 7 different decades, all as a local family-owned business. Discount Liquor has a selection with over 14,000 varieties of beer, liquor, and wine in stock, along with everyday low prices, expert service, and convenience with 2 locations. But don't just take my word for it. Let's check out some online reviews. Robert wrote, "There's not a better liquor store around. Nobody even comes close to their beer selection. The only issue? I get brain overload because there are so many choices." And Aubrey recalled, "I went in looking for a very specific and rare dessert wine. They not only knew of it, but special ordered it and called us when it was available for pickup. Just can't beat their service." Thanks, Robert and Aubrey, for your kind words and patronage. Discount Liquor in Milwaukee on 51st in Oklahoma and in downtown Waukesha on Main and Barstow.
Your bathroom is boring and basic too. It seems like there's nothing you can do. A better bath awaits. You'll feel brand new, relaxing in a world of peace at the Bath Authority.
Hey,
is Kyle Wallace. Right now, schedule your free in-home estimate and get $1,000 off a new shower or bath, plus 36 months of interest-free financing. Restrictions apply. A better bath awaits.
You're our priority at the Bath Authority.
Your taste buds are in luck. The Reuben is back at Cousin Subs. Try this classic sub grilled to order just for you. Stacked with corned beef, Wisconsin Swiss cheese, and sauerkraut topped with Thousand Island dressing and served on rye bread. And our delicious mint shake is back. Both the Reuben and mint shake can be ordered via the Cousins app or online for a limited time only. Cousin Subs. We believe in better.
ESPN Wisconsin's Ben Brust here because Forward Healthy Lifestyles has shown me that getting older doesn't mean you have to feel older. We used to think getting older meant having less energy, less muscle, less endurance, less sex, and perhaps a bit more joint pain to weight around that waist. Not anymore. The experts at Forward Healthy Lifestyles help men optimize their hormone levels, including testosterone, providing cutting-edge regenerative medicine therapies, and even help men lose stubborn weight with programs like semaglutide. In 2024, change your life. Visit forwardhealthylifestyles.com for a free consultation.
Don't you wish your life came with a warning app?
That dog does not want to be petted.
Well, life doesn't always give you time to change the outcome, but prediabetes does. Take the 1-minute test today at doihaveprediabetes.org. Brought to you by the Ad Council and its Prediabetes Awareness Partners.
It's that time.
Yes, it's finally here.
Craig makes his picks of the week.
You can bet the house on it.
Picks of the week on Sunday Karma with Craig Karmazin. Presented by Palermo's Pizza, Wisconsin's hometown pizza.
Can't wait to see what happens next.
On ESPN Wisconsin and WisconsinOnDemand.com.
And it is time for our Palermo's Picks, which of course brought to us by Palermo's Pizza. Find Palermo's in your local grocer's freezer. I found my most recent ones at Sendik's. You love the Screamin' Sicilian. Surfer Boy with the crust is insane. Connie's Urban Pie, Palermo's. Oh, there is an ability to eat delicious pizza and know you're supporting one of Wisconsin's hometown brands, supporting so many that they employ, so many community activities that Giacomo, Angelo, and the team at Palermo support. They bring us your Palermo's Picks. Bonus segment with Jen Latta. Jen, that means you watched the documentary, didn't you?
Oh my gosh, I watched it yesterday and I loved it.
So we're talking about We Are the World. I don't even know what the documentary is called, but...
The Greatest Night in Pop.
Okay, Greatest Night in Pop. I watched it Monday night and it was one of those where I was just like constantly smiling. Kyle said, "Oh, y'all are from that We Are the World generation."
No, that's not. That is not how I said it.
Yeah, you
That's
are.
fair to you. You did not say it
you
that
were
way.
all excited about it, and I just wanted to be known is that We Are the World. I know the words. We are the world. We are the children. We are the ones that make a better day. So let's start giving. It's the choice you're making.
Yeah.
We had to sing it in elementary school.
Okay.
Nonstop. It was only like 10 years old by that time.
Okay, because I've met people like Hannah in the company is like, isn't she like close to your age?
Exact same age. She's actually older than me.
She had never heard of it.
What?
Yeah, she'd never heard of it.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, I had to sing the song growing up.
Yeah. So Jen, you watched the movie. What was and that is our Palermo's pick of the week is to watch The Biggest Night in Pop. What were your biggest takeaways from watching this movie?
So, okay, well, first of all,
and also, was it like signature? Like for me, and Jason, you could answer this after Jen. It feels like it was a signature memory of my childhood. Was like that song coming out.
No, not for me. I mean, you're a little bit older than I am, so it wasn't a signature memory of my childhood, but I loved so many of those artists, right? Like, that was the thing. It's like, Bruce Springsteen and Huey Lewis and Cyndi Lauper and Paul Simon and Hall & Oates, and I think it was just Hall that was there, actually.
Yeah.
But, one after another, and Lionel Richie did such a fantastic job as the main narrator of the piece, and Michael Jackson, getting to hear him without the tracks behind him, just singing the lyrics of the song. Like, there were so many moments in the documentary that were just really powerful. And then, of course, the conflict, right? There was so much conflict because when you get all of those egos, all of those personalities, all of those superstars in the same room, yes, you're all like pulling the rope in the same direction, but like at one point Stevie Wonder wants to insert some Swahili into the song, and people are like, they don't even speak Swahili in the area of the world that was trying to... It was crazy. And you could just see Sheila E. being there because they really just wanted Prince to show up, and so I just, as somebody who makes short documentaries and who dabbles in the documentary space, I'm always fascinated by the process of it. I thought they knocked it out of the park. It was entertaining, it was informative, and there was so much nostalgia for our generation seeing all of those artists in the same room.
Jason, what about your memories of We Are the World?
So I obviously remember it very clearly, but there was also the Christmas one. Do They Know It's Christmas After All? Which I feel like
Feed the World.
Yes.
Yeah, that one.
And then there was Farm Aid that occurred during my youth.
There was also Hands Across America.
Yes.
Which we were not very happy with y'all in the Midwest because, we had a lot of population and we were all going to hold hands and go from coast to coast. We did our job at the coasts. I don't know what happened with y'all in the center of the country on Hands Across America.
I'm glad you recovered from that disappointment.
Yeah.
I'm eager to watch the documentary, although I'm so far behind on all the different things. I still haven't streamed the final season of Ted Lasso.
No, watch this first. This was definitely worth every moment.
Yeah.
From a young person.
Kyle.
This was so good because most of these artists, I've heard of them, and I've seen the video. I didn't know the backstory. I didn't realize this was like a big ordeal before an award, after an award show. I just thought they got together and did it for Africa. I didn't realize there was so much behind the scenes stuff, and it was
behind the music.
Yeah, and so then actually seeing the film of the video being filmed, it was pretty cool to see the background. So you hear Cyndi Lauper.
Yeah.
You see her, how many takes she had to do. I was like, oh, this is pretty cool. Al Jarreau, who's from Wisconsin, being drunk.
Yeah, of course. The guy from Wisconsin was drunk, of course.
Yeah, it was fantastic. I was like, this
Wait,
is
Jen,
great.
what about Bob Dylan? He needed Stevie Wonder to teach him how to be Bob Dylan. That was amazing.
That was so strange. But every time they showed him, it just looked like he was very uncomfortable in that setting, right? It looked like he didn't know how to interact with all of these other superstars, which was unusual. But I love that you said about Cyndi Lauper, because what that scene at the end was Huey Lewis and Cyndi Lauper, and was it Kim Coates was the other one? And they were all trying to harmonize. Kim Carnes. Kim Carnes, yeah, thank you so much. And Cyndi Lauper has such range, and Huey Lewis was just trying to keep up. He couldn't hit those high notes. But that's all of what went into creating this global phenomenon of a song.
That's wild. It is definitely Jen and Kyle and me recommended, Jason. So
those are your Palermo's picks.
Yeah, I think that is a strong Palermo pick for this week. So everyone, if it's on Netflix, by the way, if we didn't say it, check that out. And I think we're usually a little long on the show, but I think we're about 4 minutes too long. So Jen Latta, Jen Gabe and Chewy, bonus segment. Love it. Jason Wilde in studio, love it. Kyle Wallace, KBN. Kyle Brad Nortman, right?
Star-studded. This is the most star-studded Sunday Karma ever.
Wait, isn't that what that show is called? KBN, Kyle Brad Nortman? That's what the B.
It was this week.
Yeah.
All right.
The Brust is back. Baby Brust is back. I don't know if we're talking about his baby or him.
Okay, I don't know. I didn't know I didn't know what we're talking about on the air, so I didn't go there, but you did, so all good. I know I always talk about when you have COVID on the air and your family gets mad. Is that bad? Is that a
that is a HIPAA violation?
That is a HIPAA violation. I love airing Kyle's dirty. I've
been COVID for 6+ months.
Yeah, he's all right. There you have it, Jen. Thank you, Jen, for jumping on twice.
Thanks, guys. I'll see you soon.
Good luck on the ACT.
Yeah, Jen Latta. Jason Wilde, thank you for being here.
This was fun. I'm glad I stopped by.
Yeah, Wilde and Tausch 9 to noon. We're missing Homer and Greeny, right? That's who we needed.
Greeny doesn't even show up for his own job half the time.
Oh, that's a shot. I think he's done a good job of that.
I've heard a lot of Evan Cohen, which is fantastic.
Rutledge and Hamilton. Yeah, we got a few more, but I'll see y'all at George Webb. Stay healthy, stay together, survive today, thrive tomorrow. Don't settle. You have been listening to Sunday Karma on ESPN Wisconsin. Are you sticking with this music? You're not flowing into our others?
This is it, baby. We are the world today.
Wow. Kyle, send us out.
Peace.
This is ESPN Wisconsin and ESPNWisconsin.com.
The 988 Suicide and Crisis Lifeline is here and ready to help. Anyone can call or text 988 or chat via 988wisconsin.org to get connected to a trained Lifeline counselor. Trained counselors are here to support anyone experiencing a suicidal, mental health, or substance use crisis. You can also contact 988 if you are concerned about someone. 988 is confidential and free to all Wisconsin residents. 988 24/7. Call, text, chat. Here to support you. Sponsored by the Wisconsin Department of Health Services.
Brewers win!
Get more from your live baseball experience with the 2024 Brewers Ticket Plan. On sale now. Don't miss more exclusive Brewers season seat holder rewards, like your very own batting practice session, more can't-miss action, and more access to the game you love. It's your ticket to being a VIP Brewers fan this season. Plus, you'll enjoy savings on ticket prices you can't get anywhere else. Learn more at brewers.com/ticket plans.
Get your game on at the Island Resort and Casino with first-round picks of your favorite slots and table games. Watch your team compete on big screens in T. McSee's Sports Bar or the Sports Illustrated Sportsbook Room. Yes, you can bet the spread, parlays, futures, and more with Sports Illustrated Sportsbook at Island Resort and Casino. Your place to bet on sports. To book a game-time getaway at the Island, call 800-682-6040 today.
ESPN Wisconsin's Mark Tauscher here, and if you're like me, you're probably budgeting